Chapter 1036. Ling Xiao could tell what Qing Yuanjun was thinking, but he didn't care. They were just 3 demigods. They couldn't do anything. The transformation of the icy heart tea tree was completed in no time. Boom! When the last leaf of the ice heart tea tree was formed, the number of 50 was completely perfect. The ice heart tea tree shone brightly. The 50 leaves were dazzling, and 50 divine chains of order fell from them. They intertwined with each other, mysterious and unfathomable. The mysterious and vast aura spread out, making people feel relaxed and happy. It was as if all distracting thoughts had disappeared. Ling Xiao kept the icy heart tea tree in his small world. Qing Yuanjun was going crazy with jealousy. That was an unparalleled divine herb. If it was given to him, he might be able to break through to the titled Supreme Realm. It might even be possible for him to become a god in one step. However, he didn't dare to show the slightest emotion on his face. He led Ling Xiao and the other 2 out of the valley and headed for the divine origin fruit. On a cliff 40,000 feet above the Kunwa's sacred mountain. The cliff was extremely steep. There were a few ancient pines growing on the cliff, looking very old and strong. Between the ancient pines, there was a very ordinary-looking cave. The white-haired old man Qinghua, Daoist Zhai Xing with an ancient sword on his back, and Fairy Wangyue with her fluttering white robes arrived at the cliff at the same time. They looked down at the cave with blazing eyes. 3,000 years ago, when old man Qinghua, Daoist Zhai Xing, and Fairy Wangyue were nearing the end of their lifespans, they came to the endless starry sky in search of opportunities. They accidentally stumbled upon this ancient ruin and discovered it in the Kunwa Divine Mountain. There was a divine origin fruit tree in the cave. Every 1,000 years, it would bear 10 divine origin fruits. After consuming the divine origin fruit, it increased their lifespan by 1,000 years. Therefore, the 3 of them agreed to come here once every 1,000 years to get the divine origin fruit. Moreover, the cave looked very ordinary, but it contained a very mysterious formation. Before the divine origin fruit ripened, they would definitely die if they dared to barge in. Only after the divine origin fruit ripened could they enter the cave. Presently, there was still 1 to 2 days' time from the divine essence fruit ripening. Fellow Taoists, if you can help me once, I only want 2 divine essence fruits this time. The other 8 will be yours. Old man Qinghua suddenly glanced at Daoist Zhai Xing and Fairy Wangyue. Oh. What is it? A hint of surprise appeared in Daoist Zhai Xing's eyes. Since old man Qinghua was willing to give up 2 divine origin fruits, it was clear that the matter old man Qinghua was talking about was not simple. My son was captured by 3 uninvited guests. I want you to help me kill them. Old man Qinghua's eyes flashed with killing intent as he recounted what had just happened. To be able to kill one of your clones, what are the cultivation bases of those 3 people? Daoist Zhai Xing's eyes flashed, but he did not agree rashly. 2 of them are at the 6th and 9th level of the supreme stage, but the last one has the battle prowess of a deity. I think he's not much weaker than me. Old man Qinghua said slowly, but he did not mention the icy heart tea tree and the demon clan. Daoist Zhai Xing thought for a moment and said, the cultivation bases of the 6th and 9th level of the supreme stage are indeed nothing to worry about. The last one has the battle prowess of a deity, so it won't be easy to kill him. However, if the 3 of us join forces, he'll definitely die no matter how strong he is. Since Daoist Qinghua is so generous and is willing to give up 2 divine origin fruits, then we agree to this matter. Fairy Wangyue glanced at Daoist Zhai Xing and nodded her head. Good. I've already asked Fairy Wangyue to inform them about the divine origin fruits and lure them here. With the help of the 2 of you, those 3 thieves will definitely die. Old man Qinghua laughed. The 3 of them discussed for a moment and began to set up at the cliff, preparing to surround and kill Ling Xiao and the other 2. At this moment, Ling Xiao and the other 2 had already brought Fairy Wangyue to the cliff. Ling Xiao and the other 2 had concealed their cultivation bases. Although they still encountered some powerful ferocious beasts, they were able to avoid them in advance. However, after passing 3,000 feet, the danger became more and more numerous. Some of the ferocious beasts were so powerful that even Ling Xiao and the other two could not avoid them. However, they all died under Zhu Gonglie's nine-toothed rake. Seeing Zhu Gonglie's attack, Qing Yuanjun felt a little nervous. Zhu Ganglai was so powerful. Could old man Qinghua, Daoist Zhai Xing, and fairy Wang Yue really kill him? Although Ling Xiao and the other two did not travel quickly with fairy Wang Yue, they still arrived at the cliff that fairy Wang Yue had mentioned after a day. Look, the divine origin fruits are in that cave. However, the divine origin fruits are not ripe yet. If we enter the cave now and trigger the formation, we'll definitely die. Fairy Wang Yue pointed at the cave between a few pine trees and said. All right. We're already here. Tell your father, Daoist Zhai Xing, and fairy Wang Yue to get their asses out here. Zhu Ganglai looked at fairy Wang Yue indifferently. Fairy Wang Yue's face was filled with embarrassment. Although he wanted to deny it, Zhu Gonglie's attitude showed that he did not believe him at all. Ha ha ha. You've got guts. You know that the three of us are here and you still dare to come. I don't know what you're relying on, but you'll definitely die today. An old and cold laugh resounded in the void. Rumble. The void trembled as three figures flew down from the cliff. Like lightning, they appeared in front of Ling Xiao and the other two. They were old man Qinghua, Daoist Zhai Xing, and fairy Wang Yue. This was especially true for Daoist Zhai Xing and fairy Wang Yue. They glanced at the three of them indifferently and discovered that it was just as old man Qinghua had said. Only Zhu Gonglie's cultivation was something they could not see through. They immediately relaxed. In their opinion, as long as they killed Zhu Ganglai, they could easily kill Ling Xiao and Zhu Biao. Ling Xiao's eyes were calm as he looked at old man Qinghua, Daoist Zhai Xing, and fairy Wang Yue. He could see that the three of them were indeed half-step divine spirits. However, their auras were stronger than half-step divine spirits. They were similar to Yin Jiutian. The divine path Yuan Qi in their bodies was extremely dense. It must be because they had consumed the divine origin fruit. However, Ling Xiao could also see that the three of them were nearing the end of their lifespan. Even with the divine origin fruit, they were barely hanging on. After all, although the divine origin fruit could increase one's lifespan, it was not obvious. If they did not reach the divine realm, they would eventually die. Three mere half-step divine spirits. So what if you've consumed the divine origin fruit? If you can really reach the divine realm, you might be able to fight with me. You're just three idiots who have refined the divine spark and destroyed your own future. How dare you be so arrogant in front of me? Get over here. I'll kill you like I'm butchering dogs. Chapter 1037. How dare you? Let's see if your strength is as powerful as your mouth. Old man Qinghua's eyes flashed with killing intent as he pounced on Zhu Ganglai. Boom! He struck out with his palm, and light spewed out from his palm. Runes intertwined, and a vast green divine power turned into a majestic sea that came crashing down on Zhu Ganglai. Although old man Qinghua knew that Zhu Ganglai was very strong, he had many tricks up his sleeve. With the help of Daoist Zhai Xing and fairy Wang Yue, it was not difficult to kill Zhu Ganglai. Good timing, ha ha ha, Zhu Gonglie's eyes flashed, and he threw out a punch as well. Demonic light rose from Zhu Gonglie's body, and all the power in his body seemed to be condensed on his fist. It was like a black lightning bolt that wanted to pierce through everything. This was the extreme demonic fist, one of Zhu Gonglie's ultimate techniques. When he used the extreme demonic fist, even Ling Xiao would find it difficult to defeat him. Boom! The fist and palm collided, and the green sea surged. Zhu Ganglai instantly punched a big hole in the sea. The light was dazzling, and heaven and earth shook violently. Old man Qinghua's expression suddenly changed as he felt a surge of divine power surge toward him. Moreover, it contained an extremely terrifying corrosive power. He slashed down with his palm, and the blazing saber light instantly cut off the divine power that was surging towards him. After that, he borrowed the unparalleled divine power to fly back. Daoist Zhai Xing, Daoist Wang Yue, let's attack together. Old man Qinghua's eyes flashed as he looked at Daoist Zhai Xing and Fairy Wang Yue. Okay. Daoist Zhai Xing and Fairy Wang Yue's eyes flashed. They could also see that Zhu Gonglia's strength was unparalleled. Moreover, the vast devil qi caused their expressions to change. Zhu Ganglai was actually a devil race expert. They immediately leaped over. 3 peerless experts besieged Zhu Ganglai, and an earth-shattering battle broke out. Ling Xiao and Zhu Biao stood aside and did not make a move. In Ling Xiao's opinion, although the 3 of them were strong, their cultivation had not entered the immortal realm. Even if they could fight with Zhu Ganglai, they would not be able to defeat him in the end. However, old man Qinghua's green light primordial sword qi had piqued Ling Xiao's interest. Qing Yuanjuan's face was full of anxiety. Although he hoped that old man Qinghua could kill Zhu Ganglai, his confidence was shaken after witnessing Zhu Gonglia's powerful combat strength along the way. Boom! Elder Qinghua's body was surrounded by blazing light. Blue divine light shot up into the sky. His hair and beard were all white, and he wore a linen robe. At this moment, he stood above the 9 heavens like a peerless sword god. His finger was like a sword as he pointed at Zhu Ganglai. Suddenly, the cyan sword qi gathered in the sky, turning into a cyan river that slashed toward Zhu Ganglai. It was vast and mighty, surging, and it contained the immortal fluctuations of the primordial chaos. It seemed as if it intended to shatter everything. Old man Qinghua's primordial cyan sword qi was far more powerful than Qing Yuanjuan's. Even Ling Xiao was shocked. Zhu Gonglia's eyes flashed with a strong fighting spirit. The 9-toothed rake flashed and appeared in his hand. Black light rose from Zhu Gonglia's body. With the 9-toothed rake in his hand, he leaped into the sky and smashed down toward the Cyan River. The 9-toothed rake shone brightly, and the 9 teeth were like 9 sword lights. They collided with the Cyan River. At this moment, the ancient sword on Daoist Zhai Xing's back was unsheathed. Instantly, the sky and earth were illuminated. Clang! The sword light illuminated the sky. It was a crimson divine sword that flowed with brilliant divine light. It pierced through the sky toward Zhu Gonglia's chest. Fairy Wang Yue also made her move. Her slender fingers moved, and suddenly, white rays of light shot out from her fingertips. They intertwined with each other like a large net woven with moonlight, enveloping Zhu Ganglai. Daoist Zhai Xing and Fairy Wang Yue were both outstanding talents of the current era. Moreover, the husband and wife were telepathic, and their coordination was perfect. They chose to attack when Zhu Ganglai and old man Qinghua's primordial cyan sword qi collided. They unleashed a killing blow. Even if Zhu Ganglai could block the primordial cyan sword qi, he couldn't block Daoist Zhai Xing's divine sword and Fairy Wang Yue's moonlight net. Sensing the danger behind him, Zhu Gonglia's face was still smiling. There was no trace of fear. Rumble! The 9-toothed rake slammed into the Cyan River. Instantly, divine light swept through the sky. Dazzling light exploded. He broke through the layers of sword qi and didn't retreat. Instead, he punched toward old man Qinghua. At the same time, the 9-toothed rake flashed and smashed toward the crimson divine sword behind him. Clang! Sparks flew everywhere. The 9-toothed rake collided with Daoist Zhai Xing's crimson divine sword. Instantly, the void shook violently, and endless divine light gushed out. Zhu Gonglia's extreme demonic fist also arrived in front of old man Qinghua. Bang! The power of this punch was too strong and domineering. Even old man Qinghua had no choice but to exchange a punch with Zhu Ganglai. He was sent flying by Zhu Gonglia's punch. Demonic flames burned the heavens. Zhu Gonglia's eyes flashed sharply. The surging black light around him instantly rushed into the sky and turned into a black flame that spread toward the moonlight net. Boom! The black demonic flames contained extreme power. There was nothing it couldn't burn. It followed the bright moonlight and headed toward Fairy Wangyue. Fairy Wangyue's eyes flashed. She lightly slapped her palm. Light spewed out from her palm and turned into an extremely cold force that wanted to freeze the black demonic flames. This was the divine power of Moon. It contained extreme coldness that could freeze everything. However, what Fairy Wangyue didn't expect was that the explosion of the divine power of Moon didn't freeze the demonic flames. Instead, it made the black demonic flames burn even more fiercely. It was like adding oil to fire. It surged and spread toward Fairy Wangyue. You want to freeze my mysterious heavenly demonic flames? Die! Zhu Ganglai sneered and threw a punch at Fairy Wangyue. Zhu Ganglai could already see that Fairy Wangyue and Daoist Zhai Xing's cooperation was very ingenious. It also caused some trouble for him. However, Fairy Wangyue was the weakest of the three. If he could get rid of her first, it would be much easier to defeat Old Man Qinghua and Daoist Zhai Xing. The black sky demonic flames surged and enveloped Fairy Wangyue. At the same time, Zhu Ganglie's extreme demonic fist arrived. In the blink of an eye, Fairy Wangyue was in a dangerous situation. You're courting death. His eyes were filled with murderous intent. With a thought, the red divine sword turned into a red lightning bolt. It instantly knocked away the nine-toothed rake and shot toward Zhu Ganglie's head. Rumble. Sword chi surged violently, containing extreme destructive power. Moreover, a vast sword world formed above the crimson sword. Chapter 1038. Naturally, Old Man Qinghua couldn't just watch Fairy Wangyue get killed. He also flew towards Zhu Ganglai. Sword chi gathered around him and turned into a green sword Dao Green Lotus, shooting towards Zhu Ganglai. The two of them were attacking Zhu Ganglai. If Zhu Ganglai was determined to kill Fairy Wangyue, even if Old Man Qinghua and Daoist Zhai Xing couldn't kill Zhu Ganglai, they could at least severely injure him. Whoosh! Fairy Wangyue's eyes flashed coldly. Her palm shone brightly and a white chain, like a long white snake, instantly wrapped around Zhu Ganglai. God-locking chain. This was a treasure that Fairy Wangyue obtained from an ancient ruin. Once it locked a person, both their physical body and primordial spirit would be sealed, making it impossible for them to escape. Zhu Ganglai also felt a sense of danger. Without hesitation, he threw a punch at the god-locking chain. Boom! Heaven and earth shook as the extreme demonic fist exploded. The fist print was unparalleled, but the god-locking chain was very slippery like a loach. It borrowed the force of the attack and bounced away. Then, it circled around and pounced towards Zhu Ganglai like lightning. Break for me! Zhu Ganglai roared as his eyes revealed a trace of cold sharpness. Black demonic light gushed out from his body, causing the void to tremble. It formed a vast demonic domain around him. This was the Tiangang demonic realm, Zhu Ganglie's strongest power. Although Ling Xiao was able to break through the Tiangang demonic realm, he couldn't help but be impressed. The Tiangang demonic realm was ever-changing. Ordinary people were no match for Zhu Ganglai. Old Man Qinghua, Daoist Zhai Xing, and Fairy Wangyue's strength were indeed extraordinary. They could actually force Zhu Ganglai to use the Tiangang demonic realm. Whoosh! Whoosh! The Big Dipper demon area was surging like a small world of darkness. Countless figures of Zhu Ganglai appeared in an instant. Each figure was extremely real, and there were no flaws in them. The god-locking chain, the primordial azure sword Qi, and the crimson divine sword all rushed into the Tiangang demonic realm at the same time. Boom! Countless figures of Zhu Ganglai turned into dust. It was impossible to tell which figure was the real one. Fairy Wangyue suddenly felt a sense of danger. Without thinking, she slapped her palm behind her. Bang! Zhu Gonglie's figure appeared behind him and punched Goddess Wang Yue. Unparalleled divine power exploded, causing Goddess Wang Yue's body to tremble. Her face was extremely pale as she suddenly flew back. Bastards of the demon race, die. Taoist Shai Xing's eyes instantly turned red. The crimson divine sword shone brilliantly as it swept through the void. It contained a sword intent that could destroy the heavens and slaughter gods and demons. A large amount of black energy was shattered. It was as though nothing could withstand the might of Taoist Shai Xing's sword. This was the power of the celestial god vanquishing sword. Once it was unleashed, it caused the celestial dipper demon area to tremble. Roar! A furious roar came from the Tiangang demon area. A black tortoise soared into the sky with its 4 limbs supporting the sky. Its eyes bulged and its face was ferocious as it slammed into the red godly sword. The black tortoise was a manifestation of the Tiangang demonic realm, but it looked extremely lifelike and exuded a boundless aura. Crack! Taoist Shai Xing's crimson sword shone with unparalleled sharpness, and it almost instantly slashed the black tortoise apart. Whoosh! However, the surrounding demonic energy surged. Instantly, a black demonic bull with blood-red eyes charged towards Taoist Shai Xing. In the Tiangang demon area, there were countless changes and everything could be done as one wished. Zhu Ganglai could be said to be in an invincible position. Unless the 3 of them were far stronger than Zhu Ganglai and could break through the Tiangang demon area, they would be trapped in it forever. Rumble! A green light rose in the Tiangang demon area like a green sun. The light was dazzling. Old man Qinghua's body was surrounded by sword qi as he pointed his finger at Zhu Ganglai. Immediately, the primordial chaos sword qi that filled the sky shot towards Zhu Ganglie's forehead from the Tiangang demon area. The primordial chaos sword qi finally unleashed its most terrifying power. Whether it was the celestial beasts or weapons that were formed in the Tiangang demon area, they were all shattered by the sword qi. All the sword qi gathered and turned into a green lotus pattern. It was unfathomable as it charged towards Zhu Ganglai. Good timing. Zhu Ganglie's eyes flashed. He welcomed the sword qi that filled the sky and punched out as well. Kacha! Black lightning flashed across the void. The thunderbolts were as thick as mountains. Zhu Ganglie's punch looked like the hand of a demon god that wanted to turn everything into dust. This was the most powerful move of the extreme demonic fist, the sacrifice move. Sacrificing one's blood essence, primordial spirit, and even one's life to sacrifice the most powerful force. However, at Zhu Ganglie's current level, he did not need to pay such a high price. However, his blood essence was still sucked dry. Kacha! The incomparably sharp primordial azure splendor sword qi instantly exploded. Even the azure lotus pattern above the Tiangang demon realm turned into a dazzling rain of light. What? Old man Qinghua's eyes revealed a trace of disbelief. He did not expect Zhu Ganglai to be able to unleash such a terrifying punch. Suddenly, his heart was shrouded in a shadow of death. Buzz! Old man Qinghua gritted his teeth. An ancient lotus jade appeared in his hand and was instantly crushed by him. A green lotus boundary enveloped him. It was ancient and incomparably powerful. Zhu Ganglie's sacrifice move landed on the green lotus boundary, causing the void to tremble violently. The green lotus boundary's light reached the extreme, and then it exploded in an instant. Rumble! Vast divine light swept out in all directions. Zhu Ganglie's punch also landed on Old Man Qinghua's chest. Old Man Qinghua's body instantly exploded into a bloody mist. Only his primordial spirit was left, revealing an incomparably horrified expression. The power of this punch was so terrifying that it made Old Man Qinghua feel a sense of despair. He was no match for it at all. Under this punch, his physical body was completely destroyed, leaving only his primordial spirit. As for Taoist Shai Xing and Fairy Wang Yue, they took advantage of the moment when Zhu Ganglai attacked Old Man Qinghua to instantly break out of the Tiangang demon area and escape. At this moment, they also saw the scene of Zhu Gonglie's punch exploding old man Qinghua. Suddenly, their bodies trembled, and their eyes were filled with disbelief. Old man Qinghua's strength was incomparably terrifying. The two of them combined could barely compete with old man Qinghua, but they did not expect old man Qinghua to be defeated so miserably. The two of them suddenly lost the slightest desire to fight, and their eyes were filled with the intention to retreat. If they didn't leave now, they might really lose their lives here. Catch them. Chapter 1039. In Daoist Zhai Xing's opinion, if he could capture Ling Xiao and Zhu Biao, he would be able to gain the upper hand. He might even be able to use Ling Xiao and Zhu Biao's lives to threaten Zhu Ganglai. You don't know what's good for you. Zhu Ganglai naturally saw Daoist Zhai Xing and Fairy Wang Yue's actions. When he saw them pouncing towards Ling Xiao, he sneered but did nothing. Ling Xiao's current combat strength was even stronger than Zhu Gonglie's. Daoist Zhai Xing and Fairy Wang Yue were simply courting death. Ling Xiao was slightly taken aback. He had not expected to be treated as a pushover. However, with Daoist Zhai Xing and Fairy Wang Yue's combat strength, they would naturally be able to capture an ordinary 9th-level Supreme Realm expert in an instant. However, it was a pity that Ling Xiao wasn't an ordinary 9th-level Supreme Stage powerhouse. Ling Xiao was not a pushover. In fact, he was an iron plate. Boom! Seeing Daoist Zhai Xing pouncing towards Ling Xiao's expression remained calm. He merely threw out a simple punch. This punch looked extremely ordinary and crude. It did not even seem to have any fluctuation of divine power. However, when Daoist Zhai Xing was about to come into contact with this punch, his expression changed drastically. A sense of extreme danger arose in his heart. Crack! Golden lightning burst out instantly. Ling Xiao's punch landed heavily on Daoist Zhai Xing's arm, causing it to explode instantly. Unparalleled divine power erupted. The punch did not lose its momentum and landed directly on Daoist Zhai Xing's chest. This was the pure power of the physical body. Even a true deity would not dare to take the power of this punch head-on. How is this possible? Daoist Zhai Xing's eyes were filled with disbelief. With Ling Xiao's punch as the center, Daoist Zhai Xing's body trembled slightly before exploding instantly. Daoist Zhai Xing's body shattered into the tiniest particles. It was extremely uniform. Even the blood droplets solidified in the void. It looked extremely strange. Bastard, I'm going to kill you. Goddess Wang Yue screamed. Her eyes were filled with hatred and anger. The god-binding chain in her hand flew across the sky, as fast as lightning. You're courting death. Ling Xiao laughed coldly and reached out with his hand. His speed was incomparably fast, and he actually grabbed the god-binding chain in his hand. Ling Xiao's palm glowed with a resplendent light, directly crushing the resplendent runes on the god-binding chain. The god-binding chain shook violently in Ling Xiao's hands. Under Wang Yue's control, it seemed like it was going to attack Ling Xiao at any time. A mere damaged divine artifact dares to be so presumptuous. Ling Xiao's eyes flashed, and he grabbed the god-binding chain with both hands at the same time. Golden divine light gushed out from his body, and his blood chi soared into the sky. His terrifying physical strength exploded, and with a sudden tug, he actually broke the god-binding chain. Puff! Goddess Wang Yue was connected to the god-binding chain. When the god-binding chain was destroyed, she also suffered a great backlash. Suddenly, she spat out a mouthful of blood. Her body shook as if she was going to fall from the sky at any time. Whoosh! The wordless heavenly book shone brightly and instantly rushed out from between Ling Xiao's eyebrows. It directly suppressed Taoist Zhai Xing's flesh and primordial spirit. Although Goddess Wang Yue struggled with all her might, she was already severely injured, and her strength was the weakest of the three. In the end, she was also suppressed by the wordless heavenly book. Taoist Zhai Xing and goddess Wang Yue wanted to capture Ling Xiao and Zhu Biao to threaten Zhu Ganglai, but they did not expect Ling Xiao to take care of the two supreme experts in an instant. Qing Yuanjun was dumbfounded. He originally thought that Zhu Ganglai was the strongest, but he did not expect the master Zhu Ganglai spoke of, who looked very handsome and elegant, to be so terrifying. He killed two supreme experts in one move. This kind of strength was even stronger than Zhu Ganglai. Qing Yuanjun's heart sank into despair. You can't kill me. I'm an elder of the Star Alliance. If you dare to kill me, the Divine King will not let you go. Old man Qing Hua was still struggling violently, and his eyes were filled with terror. His heart was filled with regret. He did not expect Zhu Ganglai to be so strong. The three of them together were not a match for the Divine King. Furthermore, Ling Xiao's strength had exceeded his expectations. The Star Alliance? Never heard of it. A mere mortal world dares to call itself the Divine King? You really don't know the meaning of death. Zhu Ganglai said with a sneer. Old man Qinghua hurried to explain. The Star Alliance has millions of planets with life. Our Qinghua Palace is one of the major powers in the Star Alliance. We have over 100 titled paragons and dozens of god spirits. His Excellency the God King is immortal and indestructible. He's one of the strongest in the god world. If he were to act, he would kill you like a dog. Me, Taoist Zhai Xing, and goddess Wang Yue are all elders of the Star Alliance. Our primordial spirits are marked by the Divine King. If you dare to kill us, the Divine King will come after you. The Divine King from the Celestial Realm? Ling Xiao's eyes flashed. The Celestial Realm's gate had been closed for 1,000,000 years. Could the Divine King that old man Qing Hua spoke of be a survivor of the Great War 1,000,000 years ago? Master, don't believe him. There can't be a Divine King in this world. I think he's just a coward who hid for 1,000,000 years before waking up. There's nothing to fear. Zhu Ganglai sneered. A Divine King was a big shot even in the Celestial Realm. How could one appear in the Star Alliance? Moreover, in the war 1,000,000 years ago, God King level powerhouses were very famous, but almost all of them had died. Aside from a demon God King, Zhu Ganglai had never heard of any other God King level powerhouses. I'm telling the truth. The Divine King is unfathomable. He could crush us with a single finger. This time, we must give most of the divine origin fruits to the Divine King. I think you're strong, why not join the Star Alliance? I'm sure the Divine King will appreciate you. Old man Qing Hua hurriedly explained. He even wanted to recruit Ling Xiao and Zhu Ganglai. Kill him and search his soul. Find out more about the Star Alliance. Ling Xiao said calmly. If old man Qing Hua wanted to kill him, there was no way he would let him go. Yes. Zhu Ganglai sneered. No matter how much old man Qing Hua cursed or threatened, he didn't care. He opened his mouth and swallowed the old man's flesh and soul. To Zhu Ganglai, old man Qing Hua's flesh and soul was a great tonic. It could replenish all the energy he used to perform the extreme demonic fist. It could even help him improve. Just like that, old man Qing Hua, Taoist Zhai Xing, and fairy Wang Yue were all dead. Their souls were scattered, and not even their bones were left. Green Lord's face was pale and his body trembled. His eyes were filled with despair. A strong smell of urine wafted from his body. He was so scared that he wet his pants. Chapter 1040. Idiot. Zhu Ganglai shook his head and sneered, then slapped Qing Yuanjun to death. Is the Star Alliance really that powerful? Ling Xiao didn't care if Qing Yuanjun lived or died. After the wordless heavenly tome devoured Taoist Zhai Xing and fairy Wang Yue, Ling Xiao saw some of their memories. After a quick search of the Star Alliance, Ling Xiao realized just how powerful they were. The God of War realm and the realm of reincarnation were both planar worlds. Each planar world had its own world origin, which was vast and full of complete laws. In addition to planar worlds, the vast expanse of outer space was mostly dead planets. However, there were also some planets with life. There were also vast martial arts and countless powerhouses. However, these planets were generally small, so they weren't very strong. There was even a legend that these planets were formed by ancient battles. The destruction of the primordial heaven and earth led to the formation of the endless Milky Way. Therefore, there were many ancient ruins in outer space. The strength of the cultivators on these planets was not weak. The Star Alliance, for example, was founded 10,000 years ago by a mysterious god king who swept away countless powerhouses and conquered countless planets. Eventually, it became a superpower. In the Star Alliance, besides the mysterious divine king, there was a council of elders composed of 81 grand elders. They managed all affairs of the Star Alliance. Old Man Qinghua, Daoist Zhai Xing, and Fairy Wang Yue were the three grand elders of the Star Alliance. It could be imagined that the death of the three grand elders here would very likely alarm that mysterious god king. The Star Alliance was far more powerful than any of the holy lands of martial arts on the God of War continent. Perhaps even the Temple of War couldn't compare. As for the Divine King's true strength, no one knew. Daoist Zhai Xing and Fairy Wang Yue had seen the Divine King in action once. A sealed demon god had been easily crushed to death with a single finger. Master, the Divine King might really be from the god realm. Otherwise, there wouldn't be anyone in the mortal world with such terrifying battle prowess. Zhu Ganglai said with a solemn expression as he looked through old man Qinghua's memories. It's possible. However, this ancient ruin was extremely mysterious. Kunwa's sacred mountain was shrouded in powerful divine Dao laws. Even if the Divine King knew that the three of them were dead, it was impossible for him to find this place. We will cultivate in seclusion here for a period of time and then return to the war god Great World. Ling Zhao's eyes flashed as he spoke slowly. Although that Divine King's strength was unfathomable, it was likely that Ling Zhao did not have any interactions with him. 3 days later. The cave above the cliff gushed out a resplendent multicolored light. It looked gorgeous and dazzling. Moreover, there was a trace of a strange fragrance permeating the air. Smelling it would greatly raise one's spirit. Ling Zhao had already set up a concealment array around the cave in order to prevent the fragrance of the divine essence fruit from escaping. Rumble. In the cave, there seemed to be thunder and lightning. The void shook, and purple light rose. The scene was shocking. In the end, it slowly disappeared, and a bright door of light opened in the cave. Come, let's go in. Ling Zhao's eyes flashed. The array in the cave was obviously an incomparably powerful ancient divine array. Even Ling Zhao could not see through it. To be able to leave an array here, it seemed that the divine essence fruit was very likely left behind by a supreme existence. However, old man Qinghua and the others had no problem picking it twice in a row. Perhaps that existence was already dead. Ling Zhao, Zhu Ganglai, and Zhu Biao's eyes revealed a trace of anticipation. They carefully walked into the cave. The cave was very calm, as if it led to the depths of the mountain range. After walking in for 100 feet, the scene before them suddenly opened up. In front of them was a hot spring filled with clouds and mist. It exuded boundless heaven and earth essence qi. In the middle of the hot spring, there was a small tree that was about 10 feet tall. The small tree had sparse branches and leaves. The branches were knotted together like dragons. It exuded a resplendent green light, as if it was sparkling and translucent. Between the green leaves, there were 10 spirit fruits the size of a fist. They seemed to be surrounded by a red glow and flowed like flames. They exuded a rich fragrance. It really is the divine essence fruit. Zhu Ganglai exclaimed in surprise. He could feel that the divine essence fruit contained boundless divine Tao law. It was extremely beneficial to him. The most mysterious thing about the divine essence fruit is the divine Tao law it contains. If you consume it, you will have a chance to comprehend the divine Tao law within it. In the realm of the gods, if a mortal realm expert consumes the divine essence fruit, there is even a chance to directly break through to the realm of the gods. However, it is probably very difficult to break through to the realm of the gods here. However, the divine essence fruit is still incomparably precious. Master, if you want to walk the path of becoming a god with your physical body, the divine essence fruit will be of great use to you. Moreover, this guy's physical body is very strong, and there seems to be some kind of curse power in his bloodline. Although the divine essence fruit can't completely dissolve it, it can still suppress it to some extent. Zhu Ganglai glanced at Ling Xiao and Zhu Biao and chuckled. You can actually see the curse power in my bloodline? Zhu Biao's eyes flashed as he looked deeply at Zhu Ganglai. What's so difficult about that? Although I don't know the origin of your reincarnation beast clan, I'm afraid that you all came from the realm of the gods and offended some big shot, thus being implanted with the curse power. However, the curse power in your grandfather's body is the strongest. It can only survive in the Yellow Springs sacred river and rely on the power of life and death to suppress it. The strange thing is that the curse power in your body is much weaker. Zhu Ganglai smiled faintly. Zhu Biao was silent for a moment before he said, My grandfather said that my parents burned their lives and used some kind of heaven-defying secret technique to transfer the curse power in my body to their bodies. Unfortunately, it didn't succeed completely. They both died from the backlash of the curse power. Ling Xiao saw that Zhu Biao's expression was a little gloomy. He patted his shoulder and said, Seeing you like this, I'm sure your parents will be very happy. Work hard on your cultivation. When you stand at a high enough position, when you have enough power, you will naturally be able to seek revenge on those who implanted the curse in your clan. Zhu Biao nodded solemnly with a hint of sharpness in his eyes. Alright, let's talk about something happy. The first divine essence fruit has the best effect. After that, it doesn't have much effect. Everyone, take one each and try it. Chapter 1041. Ling Xiao looked at the divine origin fruit in his palm. It shone resplendently and was surrounded by a scarlet glow. It contained a vast and majestic energy. Its fragrance assailed his nostrils, making him unable to resist the urge to swallow it. Wait a moment. Master, take out the ice heart tea tree. Take the ice heart tea tree with the divine essence fruit. There will be an unexpected effect. Who knows, your cultivation might even improve. Zhu Ganglai looked at Ling Xiao and chuckled. Ice heart tea tree. Ling Xiao's heart skipped a beat. He took out the ice heart tea tree and carefully plucked 3 tea leaves. Ling Xiao took out a piece of white jade, and the heaven-devouring fire in his hands spread out. With a thought, the white jade melted, and very quickly, it turned into 3 teacups. They looked flawless and sparkling. At Ling Xiao's current cultivation level, he could refine weapons as he pleased. These 3 teacups that he had casually crafted were at least Dao artifact-level treasures. Ling Xiao took the materials and boiled them with hot spring water. He placed the ice heart tea tree in the teacups and steeped it. Instantly, steam filled the air and the fragrance of the tea filled the air. A refreshing aroma filled the air. This place is rather safe. There's also an ancient divine formation protecting it. Let's cultivate in seclusion here. Ling Xiao's eyes flashed as he said slowly. This cave was protected by a powerful ancient divine formation. It was easy for those inside to leave, but those outside couldn't enter. This cave could be said to be the safest place on Kunwa's sacred mountain. Alright. Zhu Ganglai and Zhu Biao nodded. This cave was very spacious. The 3 of them each chose a place to sit down. Ling Xiao swallowed the divine origin fruit and drank the iced heart tea at the same time. Boom! The divine essence fruit melted in his mouth and turned into a vast energy torrent. It was as hot as fire and surged towards Ling Xiao's body. On the other hand, the iced heart tea seemed to be steaming hot, but when it entered his mouth, it turned into a stream of refreshing air. It was like ice water during the hottest days of summer, causing one's spirit to rise. It flowed through Ling Xiao's entire body and finally gathered in his sea of consciousness. Ling Xiao felt as if his entire being had been stripped of a layer of mortal air, becoming ethereal and clear. His heart was clear, and everything in the world had turned into chaos, allowing him to see the essence of the world from a mysterious perspective. The two energies, one hot and one cold, converged in Ling Xiao's body, forming a miraculous reaction. Boom! Ling Xiao was surrounded by a golden glow. Behind him, the shadows of the ancestral dragon, the true phoenix, the white tiger, and the black tortoise appeared. His eyes were slightly closed, and he looked dignified. His body glowed, and there was a faint smile on his lips. He looked like an eternal immortal king. His body was as clear as glass, and one could almost see his blood surging. His meridians were expanding, and his flesh and blood were becoming more and more powerful. Moreover, there was a dragon's roar. Ling Xiao wasn't in a hurry to break through his cultivation. Otherwise, with the power of the divine origin fruit and iced heart tea, it wouldn't be difficult for him to directly attain a title. However, Ling Xiao wanted to walk the path of becoming a god with his physical body. Therefore, the refinement of his physical body was the most important. He couldn't relax at all. Originally, Ling Xiao's physical body had already reached its limit, and it couldn't be improved anymore. However, after swallowing the divine origin fruit, a vast amount of energy from the divine origin fruit merged with his physical body, causing it to slowly strengthen again. Ling Xiao had a hint of understanding. It turned out that what he thought was perfection wasn't perfection. There was no limit to the improvement of his physical body. If he wanted to reach the realm of becoming a god with his physical body, he still needed to continue working hard. The iced heart tea was extremely mysterious. It actually allowed Ling Xiao to become a part of the chaos, allowing him to see the essence of the world. He saw the chaos opening up the world, the moon giving birth to the two elements giving birth to the four symbols determining the universe, the 5 elements giving birth, and the multiplication of all living things. That was the most original energy. Under the effect of the iced heart tea, Ling Xiao began to come into contact with it. There was a saying in Buddhism that all living things had barriers to seeing and understanding. As the saying goes, a leaf obscures one's eyes, and one can't see Mount Tai. All living things were born in this world. How difficult was it to understand the origin of the world? The path of martial arts was like climbing a mountain. One had to climb high to see far and understand the scenery of this world. However, at this moment, Ling Xiao seemed to have left this world and was observing this world from an outsider's point of view. This was extremely precious. Perhaps it would be very difficult to experience this again in the future. This was because Ling Xiao's cultivation had reached a bottleneck, and it was also because it was Ling Xiao's first time consuming the iced heart tea. In such a state, Ling Xiao also began to comprehend the 4 elephants striking the sky. How difficult was it to merge the ancestral dragon's secret skill, real phoenix secret skill, white tiger's secret skill, and black tortoise secret skill into one and turn them into a part of Ling Xiao's martial arts. After all, these 4 secret skills were the supreme magical powers of the ancient divine beasts. They contained their original energy. However, in Ling Xiao's state, he began to see the origin and essence of these 4 secret skills. The weight and weight of the earth, the gentleness and life of the water, the rhythm and power of the wind, the destruction and rebirth of the fire. With the transformation of the 4 elephants, Ling Xiao began to no longer be constrained by the power of these 4 secret skills. Instead, he saw the essence, the original energy of the 4 elephants, and merged it into the 4 elephants striking the sky. To Ling Xiao, this was definitely an unimaginably great opportunity. Otherwise, with Ling Xiao's current talent, he might not be able to comprehend the 4 elephants striking the sky even if he had another 100 or 1,000 years. Just like that, Ling Xiao sat cross-legged in the cave and forgot about time and everything else. He was immersed in the original energy of heaven and earth. A month passed, then half a year passed. It was not until a year later that Ling Xiao woke up from the state of enlightenment and opened his eyes. Buzz! Two resplendent divine lights shot out from Ling Xiao's eyes. They contained a mysterious power that was mysterious and vast. The four elephants striking the sky has finally reached the level of great success. Ling Xiao's eyes revealed a hint of surprise as he softly muttered to himself. It was a pity that the enlightenment tea and divine origin fruit's energy had been exhausted. Otherwise, Ling Xiao would have been able to deduce the four elephants striking the sky to perfection if he had been able to persevere for a while longer. However, Ling Xiao was already satisfied. Ling Xiao had already deduced over 10,000 variations of the four elephants striking the sky. The power of this move was extremely terrifying. Even Ling Xiao did not know the true power of the four elephants striking the sky. Let's test the power of the four elephants striking the sky. Ling Xiao's eyes flashed as he prepared to leave the cave. Zhu Ganglai and Zhu Biao had not woken up yet. However, their auras were getting stronger, especially Zhu Ganglai. The demonic aura around him rose, causing the void to tremble slightly. On the other hand, Zhu Biao's cultivation had also broken through to the 7th level of the supreme stage. There were signs that he would continue to break through. Chapter 1042. Ling Xiao left the cave and headed towards the Kunwa sacred mountain. His body was now flawless, and his body was glowing. He exuded an otherworldly aura, as if he had become one with the heaven and earth. Although his cultivation was still at the peak of the 9th level of the Venerable Realm, he was only a step away from the titled Venerable Realm. It wasn't that Ling Xiao didn't want to break through, but he strove to achieve perfection in every realm and develop his body's potential to the extreme. Only by doing so could he increase his chances of becoming a god. After all, it was too difficult to achieve god ascension with the body. Even in the divine world, only those with extraordinary talent could do it. In the mortal world, the divine world's gate was closed. Wanting to achieve god ascension with the body was akin to using the body to contend against the laws of heaven and earth. However, after a year of seclusion, Ling Xiao's body had become more unfathomable, and he had also comprehended the four elephants sky striking style to major completion. The Kunwa sacred mountain was filled with danger, but there were also many powerful archaic variants. Ling Xiao wanted to test the power of the four elephants sky striking style, so he directly headed towards the Kunwa sacred mountain. Boom! A crimson divine bull as tall as a small mountain, possessing an overflowing divine power, was even more powerful than the blood jade spider. In the end, Ling Xiao killed it with a single punch and collected its corpse. Under the nourishment of the divine Tao, the archaic variants on the Kunwa sacred mountain were all extremely powerful, far surpassing the demonic beasts in the outside world. The flesh and blood of these ancient beasts contained a vast amount of energy. Although it wasn't of much use to Ling Xiao now, if he brought it back to the war god Great World, it would be an unimaginable treasure for the disciples of the Changsun sect. Although Ling Xiao didn't deliberately collect them, he had already killed dozens of powerful archaic variants by the time he arrived at the top of the Kunwa sacred mountain. However, although these archaic variants were strong, they were only on the same level as the blood jade spider. They couldn't even resist Ling Xiao's physical strength, so naturally, they couldn't force him to use the four elephants sky striking style. Roar! The sea of clouds in front of him surged, and mist rose. Suddenly, a loud roar shook the void, and it was extremely powerful. A monstrous baleful aura spread out. The sea of clouds parted, and a gigantic primordial ferocious beast emerged. Its entire body was as black as ink, and its black scales were like dragon scales. Its four limbs supported the sky, and it was thick and powerful. It had a ferocious dragon head, antlers, and dragon whiskers. Its eyes were like blood moons, filled with cold and bloodthirsty killing intent. Its aura was incomparably terrifying. It looked down at Ling Xiao like a giant dragon looking down at an ant. Black Qilin. Ling Xiao's eyes widened in shock as he revealed a look of disbelief. He had never thought that he would be able to see such an ancient divine beast. The ink Qilin was the same as the fire Qilin, they were both experts of the Qilin race. They were able to control the innate Kuei water origin and possessed unparalleled strength. For example, the sky-scorching demon emperor was a pure-blooded fire Qilin divine beast. However, this black Qilin's bloodline was not inferior to the sky-scorching demon emperors at all. In fact, it was even superior. Ling Xiao could sense that this ink Qilin was definitely an expert of the divine spirit realm. However, what surprised Ling Xiao was that the ink Qilin actually didn't have any intelligence. It only had battle instincts. "You're the one." Ling Xiao's eyes flashed. The appearance of the ink Qilin immediately triggered a strong battle intent in his heart. He could use this ink Qilin to test his 4 elephants hitting the sky. Roar! The black Qilin roared angrily and leaped up from the sea of clouds in an instant. It spat out a black divine light that contained a terrifying destructive power and shot toward Ling Xiao. Rumble! Ling Xiao's eyes flashed sharply, and he also threw out a punch. Golden lightning flashed. Ling Xiao's punch contained a vast dragon's might, as if it could trigger the power of the lightning in the void. It made this punch extremely ferocious and domineering. This was the pure strength of his physical body. Even if Ling Xiao did not use any super skills, he could kill a half-step divine spirit with just his physical strength alone. This was the strength of his physical body that had reached the pinnacle. Zhu Ganglai had even said that if one's physical body became a divine spirit, he could even evolve all kinds of incredible physical super skills. Rumble! Ling Xiao's punch contained the true intent of the true dragon. It was domineering and arrogant, and it directly shattered the black divine light. Ling Xiao leaped into the sky, and the power of his fist became more and more intense. It was strong and heavy, and it smashed toward the ink Qilin's head. Roar! The ink Qilin opened its mouth and suddenly released a terrifying sound wave, shattering the sea of clouds and turning the surrounding vegetation into dust. The sound wave wanted to drill into Ling Xiao's mind and shatter his primordial spirit. At the same time, the ink Qilin's body flashed and shrunk to a height of about 10 feet. His legs crossed the sky, and he used the Qilin fist print to attack Ling Xiao. This was the Qilin clan's natal super skill. The Qilin fist print could suppress the heavens and was extremely ferocious. If it was an ordinary person, they would have been severely injured by the Qilin's roar and then killed by the Qilin fist print. However, although the Qilin's roar was powerful, it did not affect Ling Xiao at all. Rumble! Heaven and earth trembled violently. Ling Xiao and the ink Qilin collided. As if the world had collapsed and countless stars were shattered, a terrifying divine light swept out. Ling Xiao and the ink Qilin both trembled and were suddenly sent flying. This punch was actually a tie. Ha ha ha. Satisfying. Again. Ling Xiao laughed loudly, his eyes filled with soaring battle intent. His hands formed the ultimate fist print, and his blood qi filled the sky as he charged toward the ink Qilin again. The ink Qilin also roared angrily, as if provoked, and also charged toward Ling Xiao. Rumble! Heaven and earth trembled violently. This ink Qilin's strength was too terrifying, and his physical body was extremely strong. An archaic mutant like the blood jade spider would not even dare to attack in front of the ink Qilin. Ling Xiao and the ink Qilin fiercely collided. This was an ultimate battle of physical strength, and it was extremely terrifying. It caused the sea of clouds in all directions to boil and countless towering ancient trees to turn into dust. Ling Xiao and the ink Qilin fought for hundreds of moves, but there was still no clear winner. At this moment, Ling Xiao's battle intent had also risen to the extreme. His entire body exuded an unparalleled aura, and his essence, qi, and spirit reached the peak. For elephant's sky-striking style. Ling Xiao slowly spat out 5 words. Rumble! Divine light shone around him, and the power of the god of war in his body began to gush out. A power that seemed to be able to destroy the world appeared between heaven and earth. Behind Ling Xiao, the mysterious scene of a true dragon soaring through the 9 heavens, a phoenix burning the rivers and boiling the sea, a white tiger slaughtering 10,000 creatures, and a black tortoise roaring in the sea appeared. As he punched out, the 4 elephants' divine light intertwined and gathered on his fist, forming a chaotic fist print. Chapter 1043. The black Qilin seemed to have felt the threat of death. His eyes were filled with shock and anger as he roared crazily. His roar shook the entire area, almost shattering the void. Black divine power surged around the black Qilin, forming a vast black sea behind him. The waves hit the 9 heavens, containing unparalleled divine power, and charged toward Ling Xiao. The black Qilin was also very hot-blooded. Although he could feel the terror of Ling Xiao's punch, his ferocity was aroused and he began to fight back with all his might. Rumble. The black ocean was formed by the black Qilin's divine power. There was even a full moon floating in it. It was the black Qilin's monster pearl. The 4 elephants' sky-striking style collided with the black ocean. It seemed to have solidified in the void. The light was dazzling as the vast fist print exploded. The 4 elephants' divine light pierced through the black ocean with unparalleled power and then blasted towards the black Qilin's monster pearl. Ling Xiao's eyes were extremely sharp. This punch seemed to have drained all the divine power in his body. The terrifying combat power was far beyond his imagination. The black Qilin, who could fight him to a standstill, was like a piece of paper under this punch. It seemed like it would shatter at any time. The black Qilin was about to be killed by Ling Xiao's punch. Whoosh! At this moment, a dazzling green light broke through the void like a blazing bolt of lightning. It blocked Ling Xiao's punch instantly. Ling Xiao felt as if he had struck an ancient divine mountain. Furthermore, there was a mysterious and vast whirlpool that had instantly reduced the power of his punch by 90%. Crack! That green light instantly shattered, and accompanied by a miserable scream, it flew out horizontally. It hurts so much, so much. Get lost, you goddamn bastard. I won't let you off. The scream exploded in the void like a pig being slaughtered. Ling Xiao was slightly stunned. He took the opportunity to retract his punch and gave up on attacking the black Qilin. At this moment, Ling Xiao saw clearly that the scream came from a piece of rock. It looked flawless and was the size of a palm. However, it was full of spirituality and exuded a mysterious and vast aura. The green light just now was actually a green leaf that wrapped around the rock and blocked Ling Xiao's punch. The leaf was also shattered by Ling Xiao's punch. All that was left was a strange rock that was clutching its head and screaming in pain. This scene was extremely strange. The black Qilin luckily escaped with his life. He looked at Ling Xiao with fear and did not dare to stay any longer. He plunged into the sea of clouds and did not dare to come out again. Who are you? Ling Xiao looked at the rock in front of him and asked indifferently. For some reason, Ling Xiao actually felt a vast dragon's might from the stone. Its aura was extremely pure, even purer and stronger than Ling Xiao's dragon's might. I am your grandfather. Kid, you're dead's to die. Anyone who dares to hit my men must die. The Qilin anger to be to Zhao's twos to kill to death to with Zhao's, a piece of broken stone can actually speak. With Zhao's is. I to me to Xiao, Xiao twos to me. To Xiao to me to be made of. Ling Xiao smiled faintly. Vigilance rose in his heart. The appearance of this rock was very strange. It was as if it came to stop him from killing the black Qilin. Ling Xiao was suspicious of its origin. You're a chamber pot. Your whole family are chamber pots. Kid, the emperor asked me to invite you. How dare you hit me? Even the emperor could not beat me. You're dead. The rock jumped up in anger and said with anger and grievance. It was like a little wife who had been bullied. Who is the emperor? Ling Xiao's eyes flashed as he asked indifferently. You want to know who the emperor is? Kid, you offended me. Let me beat you up to vent my anger first. The rock said angrily. Then, it turned into a white stream of light and shot toward Ling Xiao at an extreme speed. Even Ling Xiao could not react to that speed. It hit Ling Xiao's head directly. Ling Xiao's vision turned black. He felt as if his head had been stepped on by 10,000 divine beasts. He was so depressed that he wanted to vomit blood. At the same time, Ling Xiao was shocked. The rock was too fast. It was so fast that it exceeded his reaction time. It was almost in front of him in an instant. Ouch, it hurts. Bastard, how can your head be so hard? It hurts so much. You and I can't live under the same sky. That strange rock also let out a miserable shriek as it cursed at Ling Xiao. Ling Xiao was so angry that he almost laughed. The rock attacked him and complained that his head was hard. However, Ling Xiao also felt that the rock was not very strong. It was even weaker than the black qilin. Ling Xiao's physical body could be said to be indestructible. His defense was comparable to a divine weapon. Naturally, it was incomparably hard. Whoosh! The strange rock seemed to have collided with Ling Xiao. In an instant, it turned into a stream of light and shot toward Ling Xiao. This time, Ling Xiao was already prepared, so he directly protected his head and used a teleportation secret technique to try and dodge. Boom! The rock still hit Ling Xiao's back, causing him to feel dizzy. He grimaced in pain, feeling incomparably uncomfortable. The rock let out another blood-curdling squeal like a pig being slaughtered. Bastard! I'll teach you a good lesson today. How dare you offend me again? The rock gnashed its teeth and charged toward Ling Xiao again. Bang! 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 Ling Xiao was hit by the rock more than 10 times. His head was dizzy and his body was in intense pain. Although he was not seriously injured, he felt extremely uncomfortable. The rock was too fast. It was even faster than Ling Xiao's secret teleportation skill. It moved with a thought and shuttled through the void like a fish in water. After being hit by the strange rock so many times, Ling Xiao did not dodge even once. Suddenly, he began to feel angry. Longma, don't be rude to the guest. Have you forgotten the emperor's instructions? At this moment, a clear and pleasant voice sounded. In the distance, divine light filled the air and auspicious vapors rose. Heavenly flowers fell from the sky. 2 women in green dresses strolled down from the 9 heavens. The 2 women were beautiful and had extraordinary temperaments. They were tall and slender, and their skin was as white as jade. Their black hair danced in the wind, and there was a faint virgin fragrance. The 2 of them looked exactly the same. They were a pair of sisters. Chapter 1044. Lu Zhu, Lu Huan, this bastard hit me first. He wants to kill the black qilin. Don't stop me. Let me beat him up first. When the rock saw the 2 women in green dresses coming over, it groaned and said. Long Ma, don't be rude. This is the Celestial Emperor's esteemed guest. You must have taken the initiative to offend the esteemed guest. Why aren't you revealing your true form? One of the ladies in green glared at the rock. Humph. The rock snorted, but it had no choice but to obey. With a shake of its body, it turned into a white long ma. It was a majestic long ma. Its body was snow white without any impurities. Its white fur was like satin. Its 4 limbs were powerful, and it stood in the air. There were 2 dragon horns on its forehead, emitting a dazzling golden light, making it look extremely mysterious. The white long ma looked lithe, majestic, and vigorous. It exuded an unruly wildness. Its lively eyes looked at Ling Xiao with hostility. Ling Xiao's eyes flashed, and he was a little dumbfounded. That strange stone was actually transformed from a dragon horse. The long ma's transformation technique was superb. Even Ling Xiao did not notice the rock's true form. He could only vaguely feel a vast dragon aura. The Long Ma was a mutated divine beast born from the union of a divine dragon and a Pegasus. It was the mount of the ancient celestial emperor. The Long Ma inherited the powerful attack power of the dragon tribe, and also the unparalleled speed of the Pegasus. It was said to be able to move thousands of worlds and roam the heavens. Ling Xiao fell in love with the white Long Ma in front of him at first sight. If he could have a long ma as his mount, how impressive would that be? What are you looking at? Don't think I don't know what you're thinking. If you continue looking, I'll beat you up. The white long ma glared at Ling Xiao unhappily. Guest, please don't lower yourself to the long ma's level. He has a child's heart and doesn't mean any harm. Our celestial emperor would like to meet you. Please follow me. One of the ladies in green smiled. Although the two of them looked almost identical, their temperaments were slightly different. Lu Zhu, who was the woman in the dress who spoke, was natural and unrestrained, and incomparably gentle, while the other woman, Lu Huan, had a somewhat cold temperament. However, both of their cultivations were unfathomable. Even Ling Xiao could not see through them. Could it be that they were all at the divine spirit realm? Ling Xiao's heart trembled, but he maintained his composure and asked, "May I ask who the emperor is? Why do you want to see me?" Green Bead smiled faintly and said, "Esteemed guest, my emperor is the master of this mountain. He said that esteemed guest is related to an old friend of his, so he invited esteemed guest to meet him." Old friend? Ling Xiao's eyes flashed. This Kunwa divine mountain could be considered a small divine world. That emperor was actually the master of the Kunwa divine mountain. He must be an extraordinary existence. Ling Xiao's interest was piqued. Since that's the case, I dare not decline. Please lead the way. Ling Xiao thought about it and agreed. Thank you, young Master Ling. Young Master Ling, please follow me. Green Bead smiled faintly. Her smile was radiant and indescribable. She turned and floated away with Lu Huan. That direction was actually the peak of the Kunwa divine mountain. Humph. The white dragon horse snorted and looked at Ling Xiao with hostility. Then, it turned around and followed after Ling Xiao. Ling Xiao's gaze was calm and deep. He looked at the Kunwa divine mountain in the depths of the clouds and flew over as well. The Kunwa divine mountain was over 1,000,000 feet tall, towering into the depths of the starry sky. It was vast and majestic, shrouded in endless clouds. Under Green Bead and Lu Huan's lead, Ling Xiao flew towards the peak of the Kunwa divine mountain. Along the way, Ling Xiao could feel that there were many powerful ancient ferocious beasts in the Kunwa divine mountain. There were also many ancient killing formations filled with killing intent. Some of the auras even made him tremble in fear. That kind of power was definitely above the divine realm. However, they seemed to be very fearful of the aura on Green Bead and Lu Huan's body. They did not dare to attack Ling Xiao and the rest, all retreating. Heading towards the peak of the Kunwa divine mountain, Ling Xiao could also feel that the Kunwa divine mountain was shrouded in a layer of powerful divine Dao law. But that divine Dao law was somewhat strange. It was like it lacked some kind of spirituality and was very mysterious. Ling Xiao was naturally unable to comprehend these divine Dao laws. But he could faintly feel that something was not right. Such a Kunwa divine mountain appearing in these ancient ruins was a very strange thing in the first place. Under Ling Xiao and the rest flying at full speed, they reached the peak of the Kunwa divine mountain that was over 1,000,000 feet tall very quickly. Whoosh! When Ling Xiao passed through the layers of clouds, the scene before his eyes suddenly opened up. Above his head was an endless starry sky. Each star was like a resplendent pearl, sprinkling down rays of starlight, converging into a vast galaxy. And under the starry sky, there was an ancient tree growing on the peak of the Kunwa divine mountain. Under the ancient tree was a stone table and several stone stools. A figure dressed in white had his back to Ling Xiao, sitting under the ancient tree and drinking tea. The fragrance of tea permeated the air, and the sea of clouds rose in front of him. Above his head was a sky full of stars. There was a kind of lonely and transcendent concept. That white-robed figure was like a celestial emperor sitting alone for eternity. It was lonely at the top, lonely and lonely. His entire person merged into one with the picture scroll in front of him. Ling Xiao's gaze shook, and he suddenly thought of a word. Dao. What was Dao? Ling Xiao suddenly felt that this picture scroll in front of him was that mysterious Tao. You're here. A mellow and gentle voice sounded. That white-robed figure slowly turned his head. It was a spirited and handsome middle-aged man. He looked like a scholar from the mortal world. His appearance was strange, and his gaze was deep and gentle. It was as if the starry sky and the boundless world were contained within it. He glanced at Ling Xiao indifferently, and Ling Xiao suddenly felt as if he had been seen through. Even the wordless heavenly book in his sea of consciousness trembled slightly, as if it had been frightened. Green Bead, Green Huan, and even the white dragon horse didn't dare to be presumptuous. When they saw this white-robed man, they slowly bowed, their eyes full of reverence, and then silently retreated. Your Excellency is the Celestial Emperor that Miss Green Bead spoke of? May I know why the Celestial Emperor wants to see me? Ling Xiao's gaze was calm as he slowly said. But his heart was in turmoil. At this moment, facing this mysterious Celestial Emperor, Ling Xiao actually felt like an ant looking up at a divine dragon. This Celestial Emperor was extremely dangerous, far more powerful than any of the powerful enemies he had encountered. Even the War God, Yin Jiutian, Dark Sky Demon, and the others had never given Ling Xiao such a feeling. And the wordless heavenly book actually trembled because of his gaze. This person must be an unimaginable existence. But when did such an earth-shaking figure appear in the mortal world? Please sit. Let's talk slowly. The Celestial Emperor smiled and gestured for Ling Xiao to sit. His aura seemed very gentle, without a trace of an expert's fluctuation. But every move of his contained the heavenly Tao, containing an indescribable rhythm and beauty, as if he was born like this. Ling Xiao didn't feel any hostility. Or rather, even if the Celestial Emperor in front of him had hostility, he couldn't feel it. Thank you. Ling Xiao calmed his mind, cupped his hands at the Celestial Emperor, and then sat down. Chapter 1045. There was a cup of tea in front of the Emperor Lord and Ling Xiao. The tea was a faint purple color. It was crystal clear like a lake, and it contained traces of blazing lightning. Moreover, there was a purple tea leaf in the tea. There were mysterious patterns on it, like the lightning in the sky, and it contained some kind of majestic Taoist rhyme. There was also a fragrant smell that wafted over, lifting one's spirits. However, Ling Xiao felt a strong sense of destruction from this cup of tea. Ling Xiao, do you dare to drink this tea? The Emperor Lord smiled faintly and glanced at Ling Xiao. Why wouldn't I dare? I'll gladly accept. Ling Xiao smiled freely. Although this cup of tea made him feel an extreme sense of danger, he still picked it up, bowed to the Emperor Lord, and drank it in one gulp. Boom! As soon as the cup of tea entered his stomach, a vast and terrifying power of lightning exploded in Ling Xiao's body. The power of lightning contained extreme destructive power, and it began to wantonly destroy his meridians and flesh. Ling Xiao immediately sat down cross-legged and began to use the sky-devouring secret skill to dissolve the power of this cup of tea. Rumble! Terrifying thunder roared from within Ling Xiao's body. His entire body was surrounded by blazing lightning. Streaks of purple light lingered around him like divine chains of order. However, the cup of tea contained the most boundless destructive power. It was so terrifying that even the sky-devouring secret skill couldn't completely dissolve it. In just a few moments, Ling Xiao's body actually began to shatter like glass. A fatal danger shrouded his heart. Ling Xiao was calm and didn't panic at all. The wordless heavenly book between his eyebrows began to emit a gentle light, and it instantly spread into his body. Boom! The wordless heavenly book shone brightly. The boundless destructive power actually melted slowly like snow, and the wordless heavenly book began to devour and refine it. Moreover, the wordless heavenly book didn't devour the power in the cup of tea this time. It only refined it and fed it back to Ling Xiao. A vast life force mixed with powerful divine Tao laws fused into Ling Xiao's body, causing his body to slowly strengthen. The power of lightning constantly stimulated Ling Xiao's flesh and blood, causing his body to continue to transform. It really is the wordless heavenly book. The emperor glanced at Ling Xiao's forehead and sighed softly. He just sat there and looked at Ling Xiao quietly. There was a trace of nostalgia and melancholy in his eyes. Just like that, Ling Xiao used almost a month to refine and absorb all the energy in this cup of tea. A month later, Ling Xiao slowly opened his eyes. It was as if two bolts of lightning shot out from his eyes, containing a destructive aura. Thank you for your gift, Your Majesty. May I know the name of this tea? Ling Xiao bowed solemnly to the emperor and said slowly. Only after he had completely refined the energy within the cup of tea did he realize how precious it was. If the ice heart tea and the divine origin fruit had increased Ling Xiao's physical strength by 1%, this cup of tea had increased Ling Xiao's physical strength by 1-fold. This was a difference of 100 times. Compared to this cup of tea, the ice heart tea was simply an ordinary tea. There was no way they could be compared at all. However, the ice heart tea was already an unparalleled divine medicine. How precious was this cup of tea that far surpassed the ice heart tea? This tea is called the Heavenly Tao Thunder Calamity Tea. It was given to me by an old friend countless years ago. I used the 9 heavens divine thunder liquid as the water and the void fire to brew the tea. After 100 years, I finally obtained this pot of Heavenly Tao Thunder Calamity Tea. Other than me, you are the second person who is fortunate enough to drink this tea. The emperor smiled faintly. Your Majesty is really skillful. I admire you. Ling Xiao said slowly with a trace of surprise in his eyes. Regardless of whether it was the 9 heavens divine thunder liquid, the void fire, or the Heavenly Tao Thunder Calamity Tea, Ling Xiao had never heard of them. However, they should be treasures that only existed in the realm of gods. To obtain a pot of tea after 100 years, this was really amazing. The Heavenly Tao Thunder Calamity Tea isn't something that ordinary people are qualified to drink. Without the cultivation of a divine king, those who drink this tea will suffer the pain of the Heavenly Tao Thunder Calamity Tea piercing their hearts and will definitely die. Without the wordless heavenly book in your body, you would be a dead man now. The emperor looked deeply at Ling Xiao and said, Your Majesty can see the wordless heavenly book in my body. Do you know the Scarlet Dragon War God? Ling Xiao's eyes flashed as he asked slowly. The emperor in front of him was unfathomable. Ling Xiao was not surprised that he could see the wordless heavenly book in his body at a glance. Moreover, the emperor wanted to see him because of an old friend. Ling Xiao was afraid that it was the Scarlet Dragon War God. With the emperor's unfathomable strength, perhaps only the Scarlet Dragon War God who led the heavens 1,000,000 years ago was qualified to be his old friend. The Scarlet Dragon Kid? Of course I know. 1,000,000 years ago, he was the first person to drink this tea. The emperor smiled slightly. Ling Xiao's heart moved. Listening to the emperor's tone, he treated the Scarlet Dragon War God like an elder to a junior. Could it be that the emperor was stronger than the Scarlet Dragon War God? One had to know, Scarlet Dragon War God was already a divine king realm powerhouse. And this emperor, could it be that he was a saint who could dominate a region in the divine world? Ling Xiao guessed in his heart, but on the surface, he did not show any surprise. May I ask the emperor, what is the magical effect of the Heavenly Tao Thunder Tribulation Tea? Why did the emperor bestow this tea to me? Ling Xiao asked calmly. The emperor smiled faintly and said, the Heavenly Tao Thunder Tribulation Tea contains the power of the Heavenly Tao Thunder Tribulation. What you have refined now is only 10 to 20%. The majority of the power is hidden in your body, which will make your physical body stronger and stronger. Since you want to walk the path of becoming a god, the Heavenly Tao Thunder Tribulation Tea may save you 100 years of effort. As for the specific effect, you need to slowly figure it out yourself. As for why I bestow you this tea. The emperor glanced at Ling Xiao and said, that is because you and I are fated to be qualified to drink this tea. Ling Xiao asked, may I know why the emperor wants to see me? Ling Xiao had some doubts in his heart. The emperor in front of him was unfathomable. He could crush Ling Xiao with one finger. With such terrifying strength, what else could he need Ling Xiao's help for? Do you know the origin of the wordless heavenly book? The emperor did not answer Ling Xiao's question, but smiled faintly. Not too sure. Junior only knows that the wordless heavenly book is the treasure left behind by the Scarlet Dragon War God. It contains 108 secret arts. It is incomparably mysterious. Rumor has it that it is related to the devil world. Ling Xiao pondered for a moment and said slowly. The origin of the wordless heavenly book is far beyond your imagination. Even I only know a little. You don't need to delve into its true origin, but you just need to remember one thing. Chapter 1046. Your Majesty, please enlighten me. You can borrow and use it, but you must also be cautious. The emperor stared at Ling Xiao and said word by word. You can borrow and use it, but you must also be cautious. Your Majesty, is there something strange about the wordless heavenly book? Ling Xiao's eyes trembled as he asked slowly. You can't say. You can't say. Heaven's secrets can't be revealed. Do you think the Scarlet Dragon War God really died in the hands of the devil race experts? The wordless heavenly book is an ominous item. Many things are not as simple as you think. But fortunately, you have not entered the God realm and have not completely integrated with the wordless heavenly book. If there is a chance, you can refine an outer body incarnation before breaking through to the God realm and completely cut off the connection between you and the wordless heavenly book. Even if there is an accident in the future, you can save your life. The emperor glanced at Ling Xiao meaningfully and said. Ling Xiao's heart trembled. According to what the emperor said, the wordless heavenly book was an ominous item. Even the death of the Scarlet Dragon War God was related to the wordless heavenly book. That was a little scary. Ling Xiao even had an impulse to throw away the wordless heavenly book now. However, Ling Xiao pondered for a moment and calmed himself down. Thank you for your kind intentions, Celestial Emperor. However, the wordless heavenly book is merely an item. As long as I have enough strength, I will definitely be able to completely control it. However, this junior will definitely remember what the emperor has said. The emperor smiled slightly and said, Young man, the wordless heavenly book is not as simple as you think. I'm just reminding you. If you have the ability to completely suppress this treasure in the future, that is also a good thing. But if you want the wordless heavenly book to completely recognize you as its master, you must do one thing. Your Majesty, please enlighten me. Ling Xiao said. You will only have a chance if you collect the 108 secret skills of the wordless heavenly book. However, although you can let the wordless heavenly book devour all kinds of energy to recover and obtain all kinds of secret skills from it, the wordless heavenly dipper 1st to 12th secret skills are not in the wordless heavenly book. You need to find them yourself. 12 Celestial Gang secret skills are missing. Ling Xiao's eyes flashed. He suddenly thought of the second-ranked Heavenly Dipper Sovereign's secret art of destiny. Although it was manifested in the wordless heavenly book, it was incomplete. Ling Xiao guessed that the Great Fate Art of Destiny was only a part of the secret art of destiny. Today, after hearing the Emperor talk about it, he was suddenly enlightened. That's right. The first 12 secret techniques of the wordless heavenly book are also known as the 12 heavenly arts. They contain a mysterious power that can destroy the heavens and earth and change the world. Now that the 12 heavenly arts are in the hands of the major forces in the God realm, it will be extremely difficult for you to obtain them. It will depend on your luck. The monarch glanced at Ling Xiao and continued, just like the Aries secret art you cultivate, it is actually a part of the heaven battling secret art. Now, it is the supreme art of the war god temple in the divine realm. Since you and the Scarlet Dragon War God are master and disciple, you can choose to join the War God Temple after entering the divine realm. At that time, you should be able to obtain the heaven battling secret art. As for the rest, it's hard to say. The Aries art is actually part of the heaven battling secret technique? Why do you know so many secrets about the wordless heavenly book? Ling Xiao asked in surprise. The monarch smiled faintly and said, "Since ancient times, the wordless heavenly book has had many owners, but a few of them were once my good friends. I also know some of the secrets of the wordless heavenly book. Since the monarch is helping me, I wonder what you need me to do?" Ling Xiao asked slowly. He knew that a pie would not fall from the sky for no reason. Not only did this mysterious monarch give him the heavenly Tao Thunder Tribulation tea, but he also told him the secrets of the wordless heavenly book. It could not be just because he obtained the wordless heavenly book. There must be something else. The monarch looked at Ling Xiao meaningfully and said, "Now, your cultivation is too weak to help me with anything. When you have collected all 108 secret techniques in the future, I hope you can lend me a hand." "Okay. As long as I can do it, I will not hesitate." Ling Xiao agreed without hesitation. "Good. As expected, you are straightforward. I didn't misjudge you. Longma, come here." The monarch smiled and then shouted into the distance. Whoosh! The sea of clouds in the distance rose, and the bright starlight shone down. The majestic white Longma stepped on the sea of clouds and flew in the air, looking extremely suave. However, the white dragon horse's lively eyes were filled with pride and arrogance. It seemed to have a childlike quality to it. "Greetings, monarch." The white Longma snorted and glared at Ling Xiao. Then, it stretched out its two legs and bowed respectfully to the monarch. "Ling Xiao, the Longma has the pure bloodline of a sacred beast. Its future is limitless. I will give it to you as a mount." The monarch pointed at the white Longma and smiled faintly at Ling Xiao. Before Ling Xiao could say anything, the white Longma suddenly trembled. It jumped up and shouted, "Monarch, I don't want to be this bastard's mount. Don't give me away, monarch." "Impudent." The monarch looked at the white Longma indifferently. The white Longma trembled and knelt down subconsciously. Its eyes were filled with pleading. At the same time, the white Longma gave Ling Xiao a threatening look. It seemed that if Ling Xiao dared to agree, it would not be polite to him. "Thank you for your kindness, monarch. However, the Longma is too precious. Moreover, it is the monarch's mount. How can I take it away from you?" Ling Xiao said with a bitter smile. This white dragon horse was obviously an arrogant and untamed breed, yet it possessed extreme speed and unparalleled strength. It harbored enmity towards Ling Xiao, so how could it be willing to be Ling Xiao's mount? "You don't have to worry." The monarch seemed to have seen through Ling Xiao's concerns. He smiled and gently stroked the white Longma's head. Suddenly, a golden saddle and jade pendant appeared on the white Longma's body. There was also a rein around the white Longma's neck. "What is this?" "Monarch, is this the treasure you are giving me? It's so beautiful." The white Longma had never seen a saddle and rein. It looked left and right and was extremely excited. It looked like a curious baby. The monarch did not bother with it. Instead, he pointed at Ling Xiao's forehead. Ling Xiao did not resist. He knew that the monarch would not harm him. Moreover, even if the monarch wanted to harm him, he would not be able to stop him. A mysterious scripture was transmitted into Ling Xiao's mind. "Ling Xiao, this is the dragon subduing mantra. If the Longma is disobedient, you can recite the dragon subduing mantra. When it suffers, it will naturally be obedient." The monarch smiled faintly. The white Longma froze. It stared at the monarch with resentment and said, "Monarch, you are too biased. I don't want to follow this bastard. I will not live under the same sky as him." The white Longma snorted from its nose. Its eyes were spitting fire as it glared at Ling Xiao. Dragon subduing mantra. Ling Xiao's heart skipped a beat. He looked at the white Longma with a faint smile and immediately began to recite the dragon subduing mantra. "Ah! It hurts so much. I'm dying. I'm dying. Bastard, stop reciting it." Chapter 1047. When Ling Xiao was chanting the dragon-subduing incantation, he could instantly feel that the dragon-subduing incantation was a very strange incantation technique. It used mysterious syllables to harmonize with the heavenly Tao, triggering the power of the heavenly Tao to explode with all kinds of unbelievable power. The legendary saints were able to command the heavenly laws with their words because they harmonized with the power of the heavenly Tao and could mobilize the heavenly Tao at any time. The power of the incantation technique was equivalent to having a trace of the power of the heavenly Tao. The white dragon horse was not afraid of anything. However, under the dragon-subduing incantation, it immediately gave in and began to beg for mercy. As the dragon-subduing incantation directly affected the primordial spirit, the pain was as if the primordial spirit was being torn into countless pieces. It was extremely unbearable. Soon, Ling Xiao stopped chanting. The white dragon horse was lying on the ground like a dead dog, foaming at the mouth and looking at the emperor with resentment. "Thank you, Emperor, for your gift. I can't thank you enough." Ling Xiao cupped his hands at the emperor and said solemnly, "You're welcome. Now that your divine Tao foundation has been established, I believe that when you completely refine the power of the heavenly Tao Thunder Calamity Tea, it will be the day you become a god. In this mortal world, if you can defy the heavens and become a god with your own strength, it will be greatly beneficial to you. So work hard, I'll wait for the day you step onto the peak of the divine world." The emperor looked at Ling Xiao and smiled satisfactorily. The white dragon horse has extreme speed and can move thousands of worlds. In this mortal world, there is almost no one who can surpass it. With it around, even if you meet a strong enemy, you will naturally be able to protect your life. Hearing the emperor's words, the white dragon horse smiled proudly. However, when Ling Xiao's gaze landed on it, it suddenly trembled and showed a hint of caution in its eyes, afraid that Ling Xiao would chant the dragon-subduing incantation again. "Emperor, why are the gates of the divine world closed? Are the big shots of the divine world really going to give up on this endless mortal world?" Ling Xiao's eyes flashed as he asked the biggest question in his heart. After all, the mortal world was the foundation of the divine world. Closing the gates of the divine world was equivalent to being stuck in one's own ways and losing the opportunity to become stronger. In the billions of mortal worlds, there were countless geniuses vying for the chance to ascend to the supreme divinity world. The closing of the gate of the god realm involves too many things. It's not something that can be explained in a few words. It's better if you don't know about it. However, the gate to the god realm can't remain closed forever. I reckon that it won't be long before it opens again." The emperor's eyes revealed a hint of contemplation as he spoke slowly. "Are the gates of the god realm about to open?" Ling Xiao's heart skipped a beat, and he immediately became excited. "Monarch, legend has it that if you gather all 9 heavenly Tao primal chaos tablets, you will be able to open the door to the god world. Do you recognize this item?" Ling Xiao thought for a moment and took out the Heaven Tao Primal Chaos Tablet. "Heavenly Tao Primal Chaos Tablet? You actually have such a treasure?" The monarch looked at the Heaven Tao Primal Chaos Tablet in shock and nodded. The Heaven Tao Primal Chaos Tablet is a treasure created by a saint of the god realm. Originally, there were a total of 81 Heaven Tao Primal Chaos Tablets. 81 Heaven Tao Primal Chaos Tablets are able to seal the heavens and lock the earth, sweeping everything in their path. Furthermore, they are able to open the path between the mortal realm and god realm. 9 Heaven Tao Primal Chaos Tablets can barely open the path to the god realm. However, it's only a temporary path. It's not that easy to enter the god realm. There are huge restrictions. However, the Heaven Tao Primal Chaos Tablet is a treasure to you. It's best if you can collect all the Heaven Tao Primal Chaos Tablets. Not only will you obtain a powerful treasure, you might even be able to comprehend the inheritance of that saint. Saint's treasure. Ling Xiao's eyes flashed. The origin of this Heaven Tao Primal Chaos Tablet was truly frightening. Currently, Ling Xiao had 1 Heaven Tao Primal Chaos Tablet. Tomb King City, Great Lightning Toon Temple and War God Shrine had a total of 7. The last one was still missing. However, according to the news that Ling Xiao received, the last piece had probably landed in the hands of War God Shrine. Ling Xiao chatted with the emperor for a while more. After understanding some of the secrets of the God realm, he prepared to leave. Ling Xiao, there's a god spirit clone outside the ruins. He brought a group of people with him. They should be trying to ambush you. I'm afraid they're from the Star Alliance. Be careful when you go out. Before leaving, the emperor said to Ling Xiao. People from the Star Alliance? Thank you for telling me. Ling Xiao's eyes flashed. He guessed that the deaths of Old Man Qinghua, Taoist Zhai Xing and Fairy Wang Yue must have alerted the Star Alliance. However, a mere Star Alliance was nothing in Ling Xiao's eyes. Emperor, I'll take my leave. I won't be by your side in the future. Please take care of yourself. The white dragon horse bowed deeply to the emperor, its eyes slightly red. All right, hurry up and go. We'll meet again in the future. The emperor laughed and scolded. He signaled the white dragon horse to follow Ling Xiao. Whoosh! Ling Xiao leaped onto the white dragon horse's back. His white robes were whiter than snow, his black hair fluttering in the wind. He had an unruly temperament. Ling Xiao cupped his hands towards the emperor, then pulled the reins and headed towards the sea of clouds. Although the white dragon horse was unwilling, its eyes were filled with resentment. However, due to the dragon's subduing curse, it could only unwillingly kick off its 4 hooves and trod on the clouds. The white dragon horse galloped like the wind. The mountain wind blew around it, and starlight shone down. The endless sea of clouds parted automatically and disappeared into the sea of clouds in an instant. I hope you'll grow up quickly. The emperor looked at Ling Xiao's departing figure with a tinge of emotion in his eyes. He sighed softly. Whoosh! Ling Xiao rode the white dragon horse, flying freely. His body was shining brightly, like an ancient celestial emperor patrolling the heavens. His heart was filled with lofty sentiments. With the white dragon horse's extreme speed, the surrounding void seemed to be distorted. It was as if the space had changed into another shape. Ling Xiao's heart skipped a beat. The extreme speed of the white dragon horse had enlightened him. He seemed to have comprehended the mystery of the secret skill of teleportation to a new level. It was said that when the secret skill of teleportation was cultivated to the extreme, one could teleport the heavens and possess extreme speed. At that time, even if the Samsara world and the War God world were millions of miles apart, he would be able to arrive there in a flash. However, Ling Xiao's secret skill of teleportation had only been cultivated to the small completion realm. After that, he had reached a bottleneck. Now, when he saw the white dragon horse galloping freely and teleporting, Ling Xiao actually had a new understanding. It was a pity that the white dragon horse was too fast. In an instant, it had reached the cliff where the divine origin fruit was. Ling Xiao. Master. Zhu Biao and Zhu Ganglai had been waiting impatiently in front of the cave. When they saw Ling Xiao appear, they were pleasantly surprised. This is the legendary dragon horse. When Zhu Ganglai saw the white dragon horse that Ling Xiao was riding, his body trembled. He seemed to have thought of something, and his eyes were filled with disbelief. Chapter 1048. The dragon horse was an ancient divine beast. Rumor had it that it was the offspring of an ancient divine dragon and a Pegasus. It had the blood of both the dragon and Pegasus clans. It was extremely powerful and possessed extreme speed. It was the mount of the ancient celestial emperor. Zhu Ganglai did not expect Ling Xiao to return with a white dragon horse in just a month. He was both shocked and impressed. At least you have some knowledge. I, your grandfather, am the handsome and intelligent white dragon horse. Why aren't you coming over here to greet your grandfather, you demon bastard? The white dragon horse looked at Zhu Ganglai with its head held high. Its eyes were full of pride. You're so arrogant. So what if you're a dragon horse? You're still my master's mount. Zhu Ganglai was so angry that he laughed. This white dragon horse really had a personality. It acted as if the heavens were the second and the earth were the third, with its nose pointed to the sky. You're the mount. Your whole family are mounts. Little devil, come, come. If you're not convinced, let's fight for 300 rounds. Let me teach you a lesson. The white dragon horse was furious. It glared at Zhu Ganglai as if it wanted to fight him at any moment. All right, behave yourselves. Ling Xiao said helplessly. He flicked the white dragon horse's head. The white dragon horse grimaced in pain. It was on the verge of tears. Ling Xiao ignored it. Instead, he said to Zhu Ganglai and Zhu Biao, the fact that we killed old man Qinghua, Taoist Zhai Xing, and goddess Wang Yue has been exposed. The Star Alliance's experts are waiting for us outside the ruins. Zhu Gonglia's eyes flashed. He sneered, the Star Alliance. They really don't know what's good for them. Master, let's go out and kill them all. Don't underestimate them. The mysterious deity king must be guarding the ruins. Let's go meet them first. Ling Xiao said calmly. All right. Zhu Ganglai and Zhu Biao both sneered and said. After more than a year of hard work, Zhu Ganglai had recovered some of his strength. He was much stronger than before. Zhu Biao's cultivation had also reached the 8th level of the Supreme Realm. The great improvement in their cultivation brought them great confidence. They could use these Star Alliance people as practice. Ling Xiao rode on the white dragon horse with Zhu Ganglai and Zhu Biao behind him. The three of them quickly flew out of the Kunwas sacred mountain. Outside the vast shattered continent, a group of figures with terrifying auras stood in the sky. Every single one of them was standing on a river of stars, and their bodies were glowing with dazzling light as they emitted vast divine energy. These hundreds of people were all Supreme Being experts. Their gazes were piercingly cold, filled with icy killing intent. The leader was a figure in a black robe. He was shrouded in a layer of black divine light, making it impossible to see his figure clearly. However, his eyes were extremely deep and vast, containing an endless domineering and majestic aura. The eyes of the Supreme Beings behind him were filled with reverence. This mysterious figure was the true leader of the Star Alliance, the God King. Very few people knew about the God King's strength, but it was rumored that even dozens of Grand Elders working together could not defeat the God King. Although the God King usually cultivated in seclusion and paid no attention to worldly affairs, everyone knew that he was the true pillar of the Star Alliance. Old man Qinghua, Taoist Zhai Xing, and fairy Wang Yue had been killed in these ancient ruins. This had immediately enraged the God King. He had personally led a large group of experts to avenge the deaths of the 3 Grand Elders. But what puzzled them was that the God King had no intention of going in. He had only led them to wait outside the ruins. However, no one dared to ask. They could only stand quietly behind the God King. Shrouded in a layer of black divine light, the God King's figure was tall and heroic, as if he could support the heavens and earth. He gave off an unfathomable and invincible aura. His eyes were fixed on the depths of the ruins, on the towering Kunwas sacred mountain that pierced through the clouds. A hint of fear appeared in his eyes. They had been waiting here for several days, but the God King had no intention of leaving. Whoosh! At this moment, in the distant ruins, a black fog rolled and shone brightly. Several figures flew out from it. These figures were none other than Ling Xiao, Zhu Ganglai, and Zhu Biao, riding on the white dragon horse. Who goes there? Stop! A cold voice was heard. Instantly, a few powerful Supreme Being cultivators appeared out of thin air and stood in front of Ling Xiao and the others. Their eyes were filled with vigilance. You're from the Star Alliance. Zhu Ganglai looked at the people in front of him and asked calmly. How do you know we're from the Star Alliance? Were you the ones who killed the 3 Grand Elders? How dare you? Today, you'll pay with your lives for the 3 Grand Elders. A middle-aged Supremes with a sinister face said coldly, his eyes flashing with murderous intent. Whoosh! In an instant, hundreds of Supremes appeared. Each of them had a cold look in their eyes. Their bodies emitted powerful waves of divine power that enveloped the three of them. Even the mysterious divine king's gaze landed on Ling Xiao and the other two. Finally, he looked deeply at Zhu Ganglai and the white dragon horse, and a sharp glint appeared in his eyes. Ling Xiao and Zhu Biao were Supremes, but they were nothing in the God King's eyes. Zhu Ganglai was a true god, and the white dragon horse was an ancient divine beast. Naturally, they attracted the God King's attention. Zhu Ganglai sneered. So you're from the Star Alliance. You're right. Old man Qinghua, Taoist Zhai Xing, and goddess Wang Yue were reckless. We killed them all. If you know what's good for you, you'd better get out of here. Otherwise, don't blame us for killing everyone in the Star Alliance. Many of the Star Alliance's experts were furious. Zhu Ganglai admitted to killing the three Grand Elders, but still dared to be so arrogant. Where did he get his confidence from? Even if his strength was extraordinary, with His Majesty the Godly King personally here, this guy still didn't know the difference between life and death. He deserved to die. Bastard. Too arrogant. Don't waste time with them. Just kill them. That's right. There are so many of us, can't we kill 3 of them? His Majesty doesn't even need to do anything. We can avenge the 3 Grand Elders. Kill those 3 bastards. The Star Alliance's experts were riled up. Their eyes were filled with cold murderous intent. They were ready to attack at any moment. Little one, what's your relationship with the monarch? His Majesty the God King slowly approached. His body was filled with murderous intent. His voice was incomparably old as he looked at Ling Xiao. You know the monarch? Chapter 1049. His Majesty the God King's aura was vast and majestic, causing the air around him to tremble. Ling Xiao felt a faint sense of danger. If the monarch hadn't told him, he wouldn't have known that the God King in front of him was only an avatar. It was easy to imagine how powerful the real God King was. I was fortunate enough to meet the monarch once. I know that the dragon horse is the monarch's favorite. How did it end up as your mount? The God King stared at Ling Xiao. The white dragon horse's eyes showed a hint of confusion. It had been by the monarch's side for a long time, but it had never seen such a secretive person. His aura was also very unfamiliar. The white dragon horse was given to me by the monarch. Who are you? Why don't you show your face? Ling Xiao smiled faintly as a glint flashed in his eyes. The monarch gave it to you. Little guy, you're very lucky. But you killed 3 of the Star Alliance's esteemed elders. I can't not give my subordinates an explanation. The God King looked at the white dragon horse, his eyes blazing. Oh. Then what do you want, God King? Ling Xiao asked calmly. If the God King had come in person, he might have been a great threat to Ling Xiao. But a mere avatar was nothing in Ling Xiao's eyes. How about this, I'll make a bet with you. If you can take 3 of my moves without being defeated, I'll let you go. If you can't, I won't kill you. All you have to do is give the dragon horse to me. What do you say? His Majesty the Divine King glanced at Ling Xiao and said. So you want the white dragon horse? What a good plan. But I'm afraid I'll kill you in 3 moves. You've miscalculated. Ling Xiao sneered as a look of disdain appeared in his eyes. You sneaky dog, you think you can take me? Let me tell you, don't even think about it. Even if I can't take 3 of your moves, I'll beat you to a pulp. The white dragon horse glared at the deity king, its eyes filled with hostility as it sneered. His Majesty the Divine King's gaze turned cold, but he quickly regained his composure. He looked at Ling Xiao indifferently and said, if you can kill me, that's your ability. This king naturally has no complaints. Does that mean you agree? I agree. How could he not agree? With such a good opportunity, I would also like to experience the Divine King's brilliant moves. Please enlighten me. Ling Xiao smiled faintly, his eyes glinting. Good. You are indeed courageous. The Divine King said calmly. Rumble. Boundless divine might permeated the air around him, and a black murderous aura rose. An icy aura locked onto Ling Xiao. Ling Xiao, I think you'll definitely lose. This fellow isn't so easy to deal with. Why don't you remove my dragon-subduing curse first so that I can escape later? The white dragon horse nagged at Ling Xiao. On the other hand, Zhu Ganglai and Zhu Biao's expressions were incomparably calm. They looked at the Divine King with ridicule. Although Ling Xiao's cultivation was only at the 9th level of the Supreme Realm, his combat strength was the strongest among the group. Even Zhu Ganglai was no match for Ling Xiao. The Divine King was probably wrong to think that he could take advantage of Ling Xiao. Kacha! Black lightning rose and condensed on the Divine King's fist. Then, it violently blasted toward Ling Xiao. Good timing. Ling Xiao's eyes flashed sharply. This fist contained the purest law of the Supreme Realm. It was vast and powerful, far surpassing the strength of a half-step god. Ling Xiao also threw out a punch. The void trembled violently. The divine war energy in Ling Xiao's body rose. This divine war king fist was invincible and terrifying. It violently collided with the Divine King's fist. Boom! Divine light soared into the sky, dazzling and resplendent. It was as if a vast storm of divine light had been set off. Ling Xiao had used the War God King's fist, which contained unparalleled power. It instantly shattered the Divine King's fist. Ling Xiao and His Majesty the God King both shuddered and retreated at the same time. What? Many of the Star Alliance's powerhouses looked on in disbelief. His Majesty the Divine King had dominated the boundless starry sky. He was invincible and had slain countless demon gods and false gods. This kid in front of them was only at the 9th level of the Supreme Realm. How could he be so powerful? His Majesty the Divine King must have gone easy on him. This next move will defeat the kid without a doubt. One of the Star Alliance's Supremes sneered. Very well. A 9th level Supreme Realm powerhouse with such combat strength. No wonder the Emperor gave you the dragon horse. But you will never know how big the gap between you and me is. The Divine King's eyes flashed sharply as he stared at Ling Xiao. Boom! Blood energy surged from the Divine King's body, transforming into a series of powerful divine runes. Finally, they coalesced into a black fist that came crashing down on Ling Xiao. This was pure physical strength, containing the Divine King's blood energy essence. It was terrifying beyond compare. He hadn't used his full strength in the previous punch, so he was going all out for the second move. The void shattered with a loud bang. Boundless spatial turbulence filled the air, and several dead stars in the distance were blasted apart by the force of the punch. Kill! Ling Xiao simply roared and threw out a punch. Boundless draconic might filled the air, and a dragon's roar echoed through the heavens. Golden light glowed around Ling Xiao as streaks of crimson energy shot into the heavens. They transformed into a mysterious rainbow dragon that coiled around him. This was the ultimate physical strength. Ling Xiao also used the power of his physical body to form a murderous fist that shot toward the Divine King. Rumble! The two huge fists collided violently in the void, causing the void to tremble. A terrifying divine light storm swept through the starry sky. A giant black snake appeared behind the Divine King. Its scales were sharp, and its head was ferocious. Its eyes were blood red, and it was extremely ferocious. On the other hand, Ling Xiao's punch landed directly on the body of the giant black snake, causing it to explode into pieces. The fist radiance that filled the sky disappeared at the same time. Ling Xiao's figure didn't change, but the Divine King trembled and was sent flying. The light on his body dimmed a little, and his eyes revealed a trace of seriousness and shock. Physical strength? That's impossible. The door to the god realm is closed, so it's impossible for you to have physical strength. But how do you have such terrifying physical strength? The divine king stared at Ling Xiao and said. He could feel that although Ling Xiao's physical body had yet to achieve godhood, the power of his physical body was not much weaker than those powerhouses who had achieved godhood. It was too terrifying. Chapter 1050. Although the divine king was only a clone of a god, his strength was still extremely terrifying. He didn't expect Ling Xiao's physical body to be so powerful that it could rival a god's battle prowess even though he was only at the 9th level of the supreme stage. That punch had severely injured his god spirit clone. The divine king realized that it wouldn't be easy to defeat Ling Xiao today. However, Ling Xiao's talent was too strong. If he didn't get rid of him, he would become a huge threat. A cold killing intent flashed across the divine king's eyes. Who said that you can't become a god just because the gates to the god realm are closed? You're just a frog at the bottom of a well. I've already used 2 moves. I don't think you can withstand a third. Ling Xiao said indifferently and calmly. However, he was surrounded by golden light and a dragon's might. There were also dazzling lightning dragons circling around him, making him look like a peerless god of war. He exuded an aura that struck fear into everyone's hearts. Don't be so arrogant, brat. I wanted to spare your life, but since you're so reckless, don't blame me for being rude. A cold glint flashed across the divine king's eyes. Boom! Light gushed out from his body as streaks of black divine light soared into the sky. The countless stars in the surroundings began to shake and sprinkle down dazzling starlight. The divine king stood above the 9 heavens and opened his mouth. Instantly, a chaotic vortex appeared and swallowed all the starlight in the sky. The void shattered, and chaotic mist filled the air. Endless black mist rose behind him. It was as if he had entered a world of darkness. Crack! Suddenly, a dazzling, snow-white streak of light tore through the endless darkness. It contained an extremely brutal saber intent as it slashed down towards Ling Xiao. This is His Majesty's Heaven-Severing 5th Technique? Once the Heaven-Severing 5th Technique is used, ghosts and gods will be destroyed. Ling Xiao is dead for sure. Ha ha ha. His Majesty will win. Many of the Supreme Stage powerhouses shuddered, and their eyes shone with excitement. The Heaven-Severing 5th Technique was the Divine King's supreme technique. It contained the power to slay gods and demons. With one slash, heaven and earth would be destroyed, ghosts and gods would weep, and all living beings would wail in grief. This godly spirit clone of His Majesty the Divine King was able to unleash the first strike of the Heaven-Severing Technique if it expended all of its power. Rumble. It was an eternal and indestructible blade light, as if it was the first ray of light that split the heavens and earth apart. It contained the concept of immortality and splitting open the heavens. This blade locked down the heavens and the earth, locking down the clouds. It contained a supreme power of slaughter, terrifying beyond compare. A sharp glint flashed across Ling Xiao's eyes. The heaven-devouring sword also appeared in his hand and exploded with millions of sword rays. The sky-devouring sword slashed through the air. Immediately, a dazzling silver river descended. The 4 divine lights gathered together and formed the ancestor dragon, true phoenix, white tiger, and black tortoise on the sky-devouring sword. This sword contained the purest killing power. The first style of heaven-slashing technique versus 4 elephants heaven-striking technique. Ling Xiao and His Majesty the Divine King both gave it their all, erupting with the most terrifying power. Boom! Blade and sword collided in the void. It was as if 2 galaxies had exploded. Divine light swept out for tens of thousands of meters, like a vast ocean. The terrifying aura sent many of the Star Alliance's powerhouses flying. There were even a few supreme beings with weaker cultivations who were affected by the saber radiance and sword aura. Blood spurted out of their mouths, and their eyes were filled with horror. This kind of power had surpassed the peak of humanity. It was far beyond what any human could withstand. Who won and who lost? That was the question in everyone's mind. Even those of the Star Alliance who had full confidence in His Majesty the Divine King couldn't help but wonder. The divine light that filled the sky dissipated and a figure walked out from within. Everyone unconsciously raised their heads. Suddenly, their eyes revealed a trace of incomparable shock. It was a young man in snow-white robes. His black hair fluttered in the wind. He held the sky-devouring sword in his hand. Golden light swirled around him and chaotic mist drifted around him. His eyes were so bright that no one dared to look directly at them. It was Ling Xiao. His Majesty the Divine King's doppelganger had used the first form of heaven severing, but in the end, he had died by Ling Xiao's hand. This kid's combat strength is so strong. If he had used that form just now, I'm afraid I wouldn't have been able to dodge it. The white dragon horse's eyes were wide open. It looked at Ling Xiao in disbelief. Previously, it had relied on its extreme speed and strength to look down on Ling Xiao. But after Ling Xiao used the 4 divisions heaven-striking style, the white dragon horse withered. The reason for that was because it could sense that the 4 elephants heaven-striking style possessed the strength to kill it. That sword was no longer a sword of the mortal world. It was a peerless divine sword, a sword that could destroy the world. Unconsciously, the white dragon horse looked at Ling Xiao in a different light. Are you scared now, dragon horse? Let me tell you, it's your fortune to be Master's mount. Master will dominate the celestial realm in the future. He'll be immortal for all eternity. Who knows if he'll even become a great emperor? Zhu Ganglai had come to the white dragon horse's side. He looked at Ling Xiao and sighed. The power of the 4 divisions heaven-striking style had also shocked him. After all, Ling Xiao had combined the essence of the ancestral dragon's secret skill, the true phoenix secret skill, the white tiger's secret skill, and the black tortoise secret skill. This meant that Ling Xiao had begun to carve out his own path. In the celestial realm, those who were able to carve out their own path were all geniuses and overlords. This was especially so for the holy path. One had to have their own path. The holy path was all about excellence. One had to be courageous and diligent. Become a great emperor. He still has a long way to go. The white dragon horse muttered. However, the expression in its eyes had clearly become somewhat serious. Whoosh! Ling Xiao stepped down from the 9 heavens and rode on the white dragon horse. It was as if he was the center of the world. Everyone was terrified. His Majesty the Deity King was so powerful. Even though it was just a divine spirit avatar, it was destroyed so easily. This young man was too strong. Although the white dragon horse was unwilling, it rolled its eyes. It even thought about flipping Ling Xiao off and making him fall flat on his face. However, it did not dare to do so in the end. The price of acting tough is too high. Looks like I can't use the 4 divisions heaven-striking style so easily next time. Ling Xiao looked calm and indifferent. However, he laughed bitterly in his heart. The 4 divisions heaven-striking style was indeed powerful. However, it was a true godly skill. If Ling Xiao wanted to use it with his current cultivation, he would have to pay a huge price. At this moment, the divine war energy in his body had been depleted. Even his primordial spirit had paid a huge price. Chapter 1051. Quick, run! The Star Alliance's supreme beings shuddered and finally recovered from their shock. Without a second thought, they fled in all directions. All of them used their life-saving techniques, broke through the void, and teleported away. Even His Majesty the Deity King had died here. If they continued to stay here, they would only be waiting for death. Master, do you want me to chase after them and kill them all? Zhu Ganglai licked his lips, his eyes revealing a hint of bloodthirsty killing intent. No need. There's no need to waste time on them. I've already killed one of the deity king's doppelgangers. There's no guarantee he won't come after us. Let's leave this place first and return to the war god Great World. Ling Xiao's eyes flashed as he slowly said. These supreme beings were no longer in Ling Xiao's eyes. Although Ling Xiao had killed one of the deity king's doppelgangers, his true strength must be extremely terrifying. Ling Xiao was no match for him. If they waited for him to come after them, they would be in trouble. All right. Zhu Ganglai and Zhu Biao also nodded. Especially Zhu Ganglai, he thought for a moment and said, Master, I feel that the deity king's cultivation is not at the deity king realm. At most, he's about the same level as Dark Sky Demon. His strength has been greatly damaged. He shouldn't be coming after us in a short time. If there's a chance, Master can capture him. Perhaps we can interrogate him about the realm of gods. That's a good idea. But that will have to wait until my body becomes a god. You and Zhu Biao can enter my small world first. We'll return to the war god Great World first. Ling Xiao nodded, his eyes revealing a hint of anticipation. Zhu Ganglai and Zhu Biao nodded and entered Ling Xiao's small world. Ling Xiao rode on the white dragon horse, a yellow spring spirit stone appearing in his hand. Dragon horse, these are the coordinates of the war god Great World. How long do you think it will take to reach it? Ling Xiao looked at the white dragon horse and asked. Hee, isn't it just a great world? Don't worry, with my speed, it won't take more than a few days. The white dragon horse said proudly. Then it flung its hooves, its body glowing brightly, like a bolt of lightning, it shot into the starry sky. Jinx, I'm coming. Wait for me. Ling Xiao looked into the distant starry sky. There seemed to be a woman in a red dress waiting there for tens of thousands of years. Ling Xiao's eyes were filled with anticipation and excitement. He whipped his horse and left through the starry sky. Whoosh! The white dragon horse galloped across the starry sky, and the surrounding void seemed to distort. Endless starlight sprinkled on his body, allowing him to see the magnificence and beauty of the starry sky. The resplendent nebula, the blazing sun, the cold moon, and even the dazzling shooting stars all appeared around Ling Xiao, within reach. The white dragon horse's speed was extremely fast. Ling Xiao could sense that the stars millions of miles away were actually flashing behind him. Moreover, Ling Xiao rode on the white dragon horse as though it was flat ground. There were no bumps at all. As expected of the ancient celestial emperor's mount. Calculating carefully, Ling Xiao had left the war god Great World for almost 6 years. He wondered how his father and mother were doing. Ling Xiao remembered that his father had sacrificed his lifespan in the reincarnation sea to help him fight against the left and right heavenly venerables. That scene was forever engraved in his heart. There were also the old goat, Taoist Wu Yang, Luo Luo, Phoenix Maiden, Yueshen, Long Out Yen, Long Lai. There were too many people that Ling Xiao missed. He wondered if they were doing well. The power of the War God Hall had been wiped out by Ling Xiao in the battle at the Reincarnation Sea. What Ling Xiao was most worried about now was the mysterious War God of the War God Hall and the hidden power of the War God Hall. Ling Xiao was worried and hoped that they would be able to wait for his return safely. Of course, Ling Xiao was most worried about Jinx. Ling Xiao now had the power to break open the origin source sea by himself. This time, he had to rescue Jinx no matter what. The starry sky was vast and lonely, but Ling Xiao's heart was burning with anticipation. There were too many people and things that he could not let go of in the war god Great World. When he returned this time, he had to conquer the 9 heavens, destroy strong enemies, protect his parents and loved ones, and reach the peak of martial arts. Ling Xiao originally estimated that it would take him half a year or even a year to return to the war god Great World from the Kunwa Sacred Mountain with his current speed. However, the white dragon horse was extremely fast. In just 3 days, they had already seen the war god Great World. This was only because the white dragon horse was still a child and had not yet reached adulthood. Otherwise, If the white dragon horse had grown to its peak, it could have moved from the war god Great World to the reincarnation realm in an instant. It was a vast world in front of them. Looking from the starry sky, the war god Great World was like a huge egg shrouded in endless chaotic fog. Mysterious laws lingered around it, and it was incomparably vast. Ling Xiao remembered that he had accidentally entered the Origin Source Sea in the God Burial Cave and saw the entire War God Great World through the Origin Source Sea. This was the plain world. It was vast and boundless, far surpassing the ordinary star world. Is that the Origin Source Sea? Ling Xiao's eyes flashed. He saw that in the War God Great World, heaven and earth intersected, and yin and yang merged. Endless laws and origin source intersected, forming a vast and boundless ocean. That was the source of the entire reincarnation realm, the Origin Source Sea. Ling Xiao was extremely excited at the thought of Jin Sei being there. This is the War God Great World? It's really vast. Ling Xiao, let's go in and have some fun. There must be many fun places in such a big world. The white dragon horse looked at the war god Great World in front of it, its eyes filled with eagerness. The war god Great World is incomparably dangerous. If they see an ancient divine beast like you, I'm afraid everyone will come to capture you and take you back as a mount. Ling Xiao said with a smile. Capture me as a mount? I'd like to see which bastard is tired of living and angered me. I'll kill them all. The white dragon horse sneered and said arrogantly. All right. Let's not go back to the war god Great World first. Let's go and have a look at the Origin Source Sea. Ling Xiao's eyes flashed as he looked at the Origin Source Sea in the distance. Origin Source Sea. Ling Xiao, that place is filled with laws and origin source energy. It's chaotic and not fun at all. Why go there? Besides, you haven't become a god yet. It'll be difficult for you to open the barrier of the Origin Source Sea. Why don't we go to the War God Great World to have some fun first? The white dragon horse asked curiously. Why are you talking so much nonsense? Let's go. Ling Xiao flicked the white dragon horse's head impatiently. The white dragon horse was in so much pain that it teared up. It cursed Ling Xiao 1,000 times in its heart, but it could only obediently go to the Origin Source Sea. Chapter 1052. The War God Great World was vast and boundless. Ling Xiao rode the white dragon horse. The closer he got to the War God Great World, the more he could feel the vast and majestic power of law. Ling Xiao felt that even a god-level expert would be crushed to dust by the power of law, let alone a supreme being. The Origin Source Sea of the War God Great World was at the core of the War God Great World. There was a mysterious world wall outside. To enter the Origin Source Sea, one had to open the world wall. Ling Xiao had previously observed the Origin Source Sea from a distance through the God Burial Cave. He could feel the vast and majestic power of law, which contained the origin of the War God Great World. Countless demon race experts were suppressed in the Origin Source Sea. Even a supreme being or a titled supreme being could not open the world wall. Perhaps only a god-level expert could open the world wall and enter the Origin Source Sea. Although Ling Xiao's cultivation was only at the 9th level of the supreme being realm, his current combat strength was comparable to a real god-level expert. Origin Source Sea, Ling Xiao, am coming. Ling Xiao's eyes revealed a trace of excitement and anticipation as he looked at the Origin Source Sea in the world wall. Rumble. The Origin Source Sea was extremely vast. The majestic energy turned into huge waves that swept high into the sky. Strands of power of law intertwined like lightning in the Origin Source Sea. If an ordinary person dared to enter the Origin Source Sea, they would be assimilated into the power of law in an instant. Their soul would scatter and their bones would be destroyed. Whoosh! The sky-devouring sword appeared in Ling Xiao's palm, spewing out a dazzling light and unparalleled sharpness. Ling Xiao's eyes flashed sharply. He wanted to use the sky-devouring sword's power to forcefully break the world wall. No need for that. A mere world wall can't stop me. Watch me. The white dragon horse said proudly. Then, its body shone brightly, and the surrounding void seemed to distort. Streams of light flickered as it brought Ling Xiao directly into the world wall. The originally sturdy world wall seemed to be non-existent to the white dragon horse. Ling Xiao's eyes also revealed a trace of surprise. This way, it really saved him a lot of trouble. You're good. Let's go and search for the sealed place in the Origin Sea. That's the end of our journey. Ling Xiao said with a smile, looking at the vast Origin Source Sea before him. Whoosh! The white dragon horse smiled proudly and immediately turned into a white stream of light, galloping towards the depths of the Origin Sea. The surrounding power of law and the chaotic origin energy did not seem to have any effect on the white dragon horse. Ling Xiao also felt that the Origin Sea of the War God Great Cosmos was much stronger than the Origin Sea of the Reincarnation Great Cosmos. Without the white dragon horse, even if he could open the world wall, it would be very difficult for him to find the sealed land in the boundless Origin Sea. I once saw Jean Say's figure in the Origin Sea. I wonder how she is now. However, with her current cultivation, she should be able to protect herself. Ling Xiao's eyes flashed as he thought of the scene of Jean Say killing the demon god in the Origin Sea of the Reincarnation Great Cosmos. He felt slightly relieved. The white dragon horse galloped freely in the Origin Sea and almost instantly rushed into the depths of the Origin Sea. Here, the power of law intertwined like vast lightning, exuding a powerful destructive force. This was the center of the world, the birthplace of the laws, and it contained all kinds of mysterious and incredible scenes. There! Ling Xiao's eyes flashed as he felt a powerful sealing force. He immediately pointed in a direction in the distance and the white dragon horse galloped wildly. A light flashed in Ling Xiao's hand and the Devil Seal tablet appeared in his palm. It emitted a faint light and trembled slightly as if it was mysteriously resonating with a place in the distance. The Devil Seal tablet was a treasure used to seal the demon race. When the extraterritorial demons wreaked havoc millions of years ago, except for the demon race experts who were killed or escaped, most of them were sealed. The Origin Sea of the Reincarnation Great Cosmos and the Origin Sea of the War God Great Cosmos were the two most important places. Therefore, Ling Xiao guessed that the Devil Seal tablet should also exist in the Origin Sea of the War God Great Cosmos. Relying on the connection between the Devil Seal tablets, he easily found the Origin Sea of the War God Great Cosmos. In the distance, a huge Origin Sea of the sealed world appeared. The sealed world shone brightly and exuded an aura similar to the Devil Seal tablet. Therefore, the Devil Seal tablet in Ling Xiao's hand resonated with it. However, Ling Xiao's eyes flashed. He felt that the sealing power of the sealed world had become much weaker, as if it could collapse at any time. Even Ling Xiao could easily break the sealing power of this level. He was afraid that it could no longer seal a demon god. Could it be that a demon god had already escaped from this sealed world? Ling Xiao began to worry as he thought of this. Whoosh! The white dragon horse did not know what Ling Xiao was thinking. After running in the Origin Sea for so long, it had long felt bored. Now that it saw the sealed world, it was as if it had discovered a new continent. Its eyes lit up immediately. Light flashed around it and it entered the sealed world in an instant. There was a resplendent light before Ling Xiao and the white dragon horse appeared in a mountain range. The mountain range looked vast and boundless. Peaks that were tens of thousands of feet high rose from the ground. Some black ancient trees grew on them and exuded a strange aura. The sealed world was shrouded in demon chi. The flowers and trees were different from those in the War God Great Cosmos. They were all nourished by demon chi and could be called demon flowers and demon trees. If an expert from the War God Great Cosmos came here, he would not be able to replenish his spiritual chi. The demon chi was like a poison that could not last long. However, Ling Xiao had the wordless heavenly book and could devour the demon chi for his own use. Therefore, he did not mind. What Ling Xiao was concerned about was that the sealed world was obviously different from the sealed world in the reincarnation great cosmos. This place was filled with vitality and demon qi. It was not as lifeless as the sealed world in the reincarnation great cosmos. One could imagine that the demon race in this sealed world must be very powerful. Ling Xiao released Zhu Ganglai from the small world and let Zhu Biao continue to cultivate in the small world. Master, this sealed world is not simple. As soon as Zhu Ganglai appeared, he felt the vast demon qi in the heavens and earth. Suddenly, a trace of seriousness appeared in his eyes. Oh. What did you discover? Chapter 1053. This sealed world should be the place where the Scarlet Dragon War God sealed the many demon gods in the past. Logically speaking, it should be a sealed space without any laws and without any energy replenishment. Only in this way could the demon gods slowly exhaust themselves to death. However, this sealed world has already begun to form demon Dao laws and is transforming into a complete world. I wonder who has such means and is so powerful. Zhu Ganglai sighed softly. Forming a complete demon Dao world? Ling Xiao was also shocked. If that was the case, it meant that the demon race could freely reproduce here, cultivate martial arts, and grow into supreme experts. Once the demon race invaded the war god Great World, this place would be their bridgehead. And if they destroyed the Source Sea, they might even destroy the entire war god Great World. Could it be that the mysterious demon god King Bosun had escaped? Thinking of this, Ling Xiao's heart sank. Let's go scout out the situation and find Jin Se as soon as possible. Ling Xiao's eyes revealed a trace of sharpness. If it was as he expected, the situation here would be the most dangerous. They had to find Jin Se as soon as possible. With Zhu Ganglia's help, Ling Xiao disguised himself as an elite from the Sky Devil race. Zhu Ganglai pretended to be his follower. Even the white dragon horse was turned into a dark horse by Zhu Ganglai. The white dragon horse wanted to cry but had no tears. However, it could only submit. Ling Xiao rode the white dragon horse and led Zhu Ganglai through the vast mountain range. Then, they went deep into the sealed world. Along the way, Ling Xiao encountered a group of demon race experts who wanted to kill them. However, Zhu Ganglai killed them all. Ling Xiao then searched their souls and learned some information. The demon race forces in this sealed world have been integrated. Demon God Palace? Ling Xiao's eyes flashed. In this sealed world, there are actually over 100 demon race forces. There are also over 100 cities built by the demon race. However, 10,000 years ago, a sealed demon god broke free and began to integrate the demon race forces in this sealed world and built the demon god palace. In the past 10,000 years, there were many demon gods who broke the seal and joined the demon god palace. Ling Xiao had also found a clue about Jin Se. According to the memory of the Shadow Devil clan's expert, a woman from the human clan had killed her way into the sealed world 10,000 years ago. She had killed countless experts from the demon clan. In the end, the experts from the demon palace had appeared and repelled her. Over the past tens of thousands of years, the demon divine palace had constantly grown stronger, and the human woman had also become stronger and stronger. It was said that she now had the strength to kill a demon god. Over the years, the demon celestial experts in the demon celestial palace who wanted to leave the sealed world were all killed by the human woman. A human woman? It must be Jin's, it must be Jin's. Ling Xiao was extremely excited. Over the past 10,000 years, Jin Se had constantly fought against the experts of the devil race, slaying countless devil gods. Who knew how many life and death situations she had gone through? She had endured loneliness for 10,000 years. Thinking up to this point, Ling Xiao's heart began to ache slightly. But according to the memories of the Shadow Devil clan's expert, that human girl always appeared and disappeared mysteriously. No one knew where she was. Master, I didn't expect Mistress to be so strong. She fought against the entire sealed world for 10,000 years by herself. How admirable! Zhu Gonglia's eyes revealed a trace of amazement. Enduring loneliness for 10,000 years, one person and one sword, fighting against countless experts of the devil race in the sealed world alone. Zhu Ganglai was full of admiration. Let's go to the Sky Shadow City first. We should be able to find Jin's whereabouts there. If there's still no news, we'll kill our way into the Demon Celestial Palace. Ling Zhao's eyes revealed a trace of cold killing intent as he spoke slowly. The Sky Shadow City was the closest giant city to this place. It was built by the Shadow Devil clan. After hearing the news about Jin's, Ling Xiao no longer had any patience. Ling Xiao and Zhu Ganglai quickly passed through the plains in front of them and saw a giant city in the distance. The city was hundreds of feet tall. It was pitch black and filled with dense devil qi. Powerful devil Dao runes intertwined to form a huge devil Dao array. That was the Sky Shadow City. At the entrance of the Sky Shadow City, there were dozens of Shadow Devil clan experts guarding it. Their eyes were cold and sharp like blades. The Shadow Devil clan experts looked very thin and weak, but they were more than 10 feet tall. Their bodies emitted a mysterious wave as if they could hide in the void at any time. The Shadow Devil clan's talent was to hide their aura. Therefore, many of the Devil race's assassins were from the Shadow Devil clan. Ling Xiao could feel that there were many powerful auras in the Sky Shadow City. Most of the Devil Kings and Devil Generals were not in Ling Xiao's eyes. The only thing that caught Ling Xiao's attention was that there was a Demon Celestial Palace. Ling Xiao's eyes revealed a trace of cold killing intent. Feeling the killing intent from Ling Xiao, Zhu Ganglai quickly said, "Master, we still need to be patient. We shouldn't alert the enemy. After all, the Demon Celestial King Bo Sun is in the sealed world. We should focus on gathering information. Try not to kill any Shadow Devil clan members." Ling Xiao was silent for a moment and said, "All right." He suppressed the killing intent in his heart. Although it was easy to slaughter the Sky Shadow City, Ling Xiao was not afraid of alerting the Demon Celestial Palace. He was only afraid of putting Jin Se in a dangerous situation. Ling Xiao and Zhu Ganglai entered the Sky Shadow City. At this moment, Ling Xiao had transformed into a Heavenly Devil clan expert, like a young master of the Heavenly Devil clan. He retained the cultivation of a first-stage Devil General, while Zhu Ganglai revealed the cultivation of a sixth-stage Devil General. Their cultivations were not high, but they were not low either. Therefore, no one dared to provoke them. Especially the Heavenly Devil clan, which was the royal clan of the Devil world. Therefore, after Ling Xiao entered the Sky Shadow City, he immediately received many respectful gazes. In the Sky Shadow City, there were many powerful devil clans. Each of them was filled with devil qi. Their eyes were fierce, as if they could attack at any time. Although private fights were prohibited in the Sky Shadow City, there were still many devil clan experts who did not abide by the rules and caused trouble. Then, they were suppressed by the guards of the Sky Shadow City. Ling Xiao, riding the white dragon horse, had just crossed 2 streets when he saw 7 or 8 devil clan experts killed. Their flesh and blood were all eaten by other devil clan experts. These devil clan bastards are worse than beasts. They even eat their own kind. The white dragon horse sneered, its eyes full of disdain. Chapter 1054. So what if you've become a god? You're just a bunch of barbarians. The white dragon horse sneered. Dragon horse, don't be a pot calling the kettle black. You demons also respect the strong and love to fight. You're no different from the demon race. Zhu Ganglai sneered. Seeing that the dragon horse was about to go berserk, Ling Xiao immediately scolded, "Don't quarrel. It's more important to gather information now." The white dragon horse and Zhu Ganglai shut their mouths resentfully. Ling Xiao went directly to the largest restaurant in Sky Shadow City, the Red Lotus Restaurant. The Red Lotus Restaurant was a huge 3-story palace that looked very imposing. It was built with a huge red stone and exuded a majestic demonic aura. At the entrance of the restaurant, there were many female receptionists from the Demon Rabbit clan. Each of them was flirtatious and looked very beautiful. Ling Zhao's identity as a demon race expert allowed him to receive the highest treatment when he arrived at the Red Lotus restaurant. Immediately, an elder from the Shadow Demon clan welcomed Ling Zhao to a private room on the third floor. "Bring out the best wine and dishes in your restaurant," Zhu Ganglai ordered as soon as he entered the private room. The elder from the Shadow Demon clan smiled respectfully and left. He knew that he had met a noble today and hurriedly went to prepare the wine and dishes. Because of Ling Zhao's special identity, no one dared to say anything when he brought the white dragon horse up. Instead, it was the white dragon horse that attracted the attention of many demons. Sitting in the private room, Ling Zhao could feel that there were many people with powerful auras in the Red Lotus restaurant. There were even many demon generals and demon kings. They were all drinking and chatting freely about various things that had happened in Closer's world. The reason why Ling Zhao and Zhu Ganglai had chosen to come to the restaurant was because they wanted to gather information. After the wine and dishes were served, the waiters of the restaurant tactfully closed the door and left. It had to be said that the various delicacies in the Red Lotus restaurant were quite good and had a unique flavor. They were all local ingredients in Closer's world and were cooked with special techniques. In particular, the Red Lotus restaurant's most famous Red Lotus demonic wine was extremely spicy. It was the favorite of the devil race and was extremely expensive. Ling Zhao took a sip of the Red Lotus demonic wine. Immediately, he felt a wave of heat rise up, surging into his limbs and bones. It transformed into a vast and pure demonic energy, but it was instantly refined by Ling Zhao. His entire body felt indescribably comfortable. This Red Lotus demonic wine was indeed extraordinary. However, Ling Zhao was not here to eat or drink. Although he was drinking, his soul had already enveloped the entire Red Lotus restaurant. Everyone's conversation fell into his ears. "Have you heard? The Demon Divine Palace is about to open again. This time, it will face the 100 cities of our demon race and recruit 100 genius powerhouses. Hee, if only I could enter the Demon Divine Palace." "You want to enter the Demon Palace? Dream on. I heard that those who can enter the Demon God Palace are at least rank 9 demon soldiers. Furthermore, all of them have extraordinary talent and have the talent to fight above their level." "That's right. The Demon God Palace has the guidance of many demon gods. That is the cultivation holy land of our demon race. I heard that a genius powerhouse has appeared in the Sky Devil race. At such a young age, he has already cultivated to rank 1 demon general. He has defeated many genius powerhouses of the demon race. Our demon race is getting stronger and stronger." Everyone was discussing and talking about the recent events in Closer's world. However, they did not mention Jin Sei's news. Just as Ling Zhao was getting impatient, a shocking piece of news came from a private room on the 3rd floor. "Have you heard? All the demon gods of the Demon Divine Palace are on the move. This time, they are prepared to completely destroy that human girl." "The human girl you are talking about, could it be the legendary sword goddess?" "That's right, it's that sword goddess. The sword goddess who is said to have killed many demon gods. But this time, he will definitely die." "Oh. Why is that? I also heard about this from the elders in the clan. Don't spread this news. I heard that the demon gods of the Demon Divine Palace set up an ambush and heavily injured the sword goddess. Now, they have trapped her in the demon snow mountain. Lord Fiend Celestials, this time, we must annihilate him completely." "That's great. If the sword goddess is killed, wouldn't the demon gods be able to bring us out of this world?" "That's right. So let's toast and congratulate the demon gods in advance. We wish the demon gods success in killing that sword goddess." Their words caused Ling Zhao's body to tremble violently. Sword goddess, heavily injured, trapped in the demon snow mountain, Ling Zhao's eyes were filled with murderous intent. He finally knew about Jin Se, but he did not expect to hear that Jin Se was heavily injured. Boom! Ling Xiao exuded a strong murderous aura. The private rooms around him shattered instantly. Ling Xiao took a step forward and completely destroyed the private room. Who's there? A group of demon race geniuses were gathered in the private room. There were both men and women. Their auras were powerful and their eyes were cold. The fact that Ling Xiao had barged in gave them a huge fright, and they immediately roared at Ling Xiao. Ling Xiao ignored those people. His eyes instantly fell on a black-robed man in the middle. The black-robed man looked very weak, but he was more than 10 feet tall. His face was cold and his eyes seemed to be filled with endless vortexes. An expert from the Shadow Demon clan. Speak. What does the sword goddess look like? Ling Xiao stared at him. The black-robed man said, his eyes cold. How dare you? You're courting death. So what if you're an expert from the Sky Demon clan? How dare you act so presumptuously in my Sky Shadow City? No one can save you. The geniuses of the demon race were furious. They did not expect Ling Xiao to be so arrogant. He destroyed their private room and still wanted to interrogate young Master Ing Sha. Young Master Ing Sha was the son of the clan leader of the Shadow Demon clan. He was extremely talented. He was not even 50 years old, but he was already a second-stage demon general. Why do the people of the Sky Demon clan want to ask me about the whereabouts of the sword goddess? If you want to know, you can go back and ask the people in your clan. Ing Sha sneered. His eyes flashed as he said indifferently. You don't know what's good for you. Ling Xiao's eyes flashed with murderous intent. In an instant, he grabbed the air and grabbed Ing Sha's neck. A copious amount of divine power exploded as if he was going to crush Ing Sha to death in the next moment. Bastard, what are you trying to do? How dare you touch young Master Ing Sha? You're courting death. Behind Ing Sha, an elder from the Shadow Demon clan slapped at Ling Xiao with murderous intent in his eyes. Chapter 1055. Scram. Ling Xiao let out a cold shout and punched out. Ka-cha. Golden lightning rose in the air, the blood energy was vast and unparalleled, containing a power that could crush everything. The fist print swept through everything, and directly imprinted itself on the old man's body. Boom! The old man of the 9th step was directly turned into a bloody mist by Ling Xiao's punch. Ling Xiao killing a demon general of the 9th step in such a domineering manner immediately intimidated everyone, causing all of the geniuses of the demon clan to reveal incomparably terrified expressions. No! He's a human. A genius from the demonic wolf clan cried out in alarm. His face was pale and his eyes were filled with disbelief. Although Ling Xiao could disguise the aura of the demon clan, this was based on the fact that it was difficult for the demon clan to see through his true identity when he did not make a move. What? All the experts of the demon race trembled. They were completely petrified. The sword goddess of the human clan had killed countless demon clan rankers over the years, and there were even quite a few demon gods. This had already cast a shadow over the hearts of these demon clan rankers. At this moment, Ling Xiao appeared and killed a 9th step demon general the moment he made his move, immediately shocking everyone. Human clan. Bastard! If you dare to kill me, my father and Lord Shadow Demon God will not let you off. At that time, you will die without a doubt. Shadow's Lay roared fiercely, but he couldn't hide the fear in his eyes. The killing intent emitted from Ling Xiao's body seemed to have substance, causing his entire body to tremble violently as if he had fallen into an ice abyss. I never thought that the news of the mistress would make masters so desperate. Sigh, looks like I can only take action. However, as long as we kill all the people in the Shadow Devil City, I believe that the news will not be leaked out. Zhu Ganglai sighed and said helplessly. That Jin Se actually made Ling Xiao care so much. I really want to see it. The white dragon horse stared with its curious eyes and muttered, "Speak, or die." Ling Xiao stared at Ing Sha, his eyes without a trace of emotion, filled with cold and biting killing intent. Ing Sha's body trembled, and his face immediately became incomparably pale. At this moment, a furious roar sounded out in the air, containing a monstrous rage. "Human ants, how dare you behave so atrociously in my Devil Shadow City? You are courting death." Crack! With a flash of light, a tall black-robed old man stepped out of the void. His eyes were filled with cold killing intent. "Father, save me." Ing Sha's eyes immediately revealed a trace of pleasant surprise as he hurriedly shouted. This black-robed elder was the patriarch of the Shadow Devil clan. He had left a primordial spirit imprint on Ing Sha's body, so when Ing Sha was kidnapped by Ling Xiao, he instantly sensed it and tore through space to rush over. What shocked and angered him was that Ling Xiao was actually a human clan expert. A mere 9th-level sovereign realm human actually dared to behave atrociously in Sky Shadow City. He was truly courting death. Seeing the patriarch of the Shadow Devil clan, many of the demon clan's geniuses were pleasantly surprised. The Shadow Devil clan's patriarch was a half-step divine realm expert who had refined the Archdevil god's godhead. His strength was unparalleled. Other than Lord Shadow Devil God, he was the strongest expert in Sky Shadow City. Whoosh! 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 At this moment, outside the Red Lotus restaurant, a rapid air-rending sound was heard. Figures with powerful auras floated in the void and shrouded the Red Lotus restaurant. "Since you are not going to speak, then die," Ling Xiao said flatly with a trace of chilling killing intent in his eyes. "Bastard, how dare you!" The Shadow Devil clan's patriarch's eyes revealed a trace of chilling killing intent. In an instant, he slammed his palm towards Ling Xiao in an attempt to save Ing Sha. Crack! However, it was too late. Ling Xiao suddenly clenched his fist and crushed Ing Sha's neck. Even his primordial spirit was swallowed by the wordless heavenly book. Ing Sha did not even have the time to scream. Boom! Ling Xiao threw a punch across the sky. Golden clouds exploded and golden blood chi exuded boundless majesty and violent power. It suddenly collided with the Shadow Devil clan's patriarch. The void trembled and shattered instantly. The Shadow Devil clan's patriarch's expression changed abruptly. His arm had exploded into a bloody mist in an instant. He was sent flying hundreds of feet away by Ling Xiao, leaving a human-shaped hole in the wall of the Red Lotus restaurant. He landed heavily on the street in the distance. How is this possible? The surrounding demons were dumbfounded. Their eyes were filled with disbelief. The strongest person in the Shadow Devil clan had his arm smashed by a human's punch and was severely injured. How could this young human be so powerful? Cough cough. You are only at the 9th level Supreme Realm. How could you possess such terrifying combat strength? The Shadow Devil clan's patriarch kept coughing out blood. His eyes were filled with disbelief as he stared at Ling Xiao. Zhu Ganglai, slaughter Sky Shadow City for me. Ling Xiao's eyes flashed with killing intent as he ordered Zhu Ganglai. Yes. Zhu Ganglia's body trembled. He knew that Ling Xiao was on the verge of exploding with rage, so he immediately agreed. At the same time, he silently mourned for the demons in Sky Shadow City. Who asked them to provoke this fiend? Arrogant. You want to slaughter my Sky Shadow City? You think you can do it? Form the Sky Shadow Array and kill them all. The Shadow Devil clan's patriarch's eyes darkened as he roared. Yes. With the Red Lotus restaurant as the center, more and more experts from the Shadow Devil clan gathered. There were more than a dozen demon kings and hundreds of demon generals. Whoosh! The wind and clouds in the sky changed. Black light filled the air and instantly enveloped the Red Lotus restaurant. Hundreds of experts from the Shadow Devil clan each took a position. Their bodies were glowing with blazing light. Demonic chi filled the sky. Their chi was connected to each other and instantly formed a powerful killing array. Sky Shadow Array. Inside the Heavenly Shadow Great Formation, the Shadow Devil clan's chi was connected to each other. They were practically immortal, and could explode with terrifying strength. Wails and howls could be heard as dozens of black shadows pounced on Ling Xiao and Zhu Ganglai. You are courting death. Zhu Ganglai roared. His nine-toothed rake flashed and instantly smashed down. The 9 teeth were like swords and instantly pierced through the dozens of black shadows. Boom! Almost instantly, the black shadows exploded into a black fog. Then, they condensed into hundreds of demonic shadows and pounced on Ling Xiao, Zhu Ganglai, and the white dragon horse. Kacha! Chapter 1056. Ling Xiao's aura rose like a peerless god of war. The sky-devouring sword slashed down on the Sky Shadow Array. The sword contained endless destructive power. It was terrifying to the extreme. Boom! The hundreds of demonic shadows exploded at the same time, turning into nothingness. Then, the sky-devouring sword slashed the Sky Shadow Array, splitting it in half. The hundreds of Shadow Devil clan experts howled in pain and exploded in the void. The power of a sword killed hundreds of Shadow Devil clan experts. The patriarch of the Shadow Devil clan was scared out of his wits. His eyes were filled with disbelief. Those were over 100 demon generals and demon kings, not 100 pigs. Yet, they were all killed by Ling Xiao as easily as chopping vegetables. Could it be that this human youth had become a god? All the demons in Sky Shadow City felt as if they were in a dream when they saw the scene in front of them. Everyone stared at Ling Xiao's figure in the void with awe and fear. The demon clan respected the strong. Regardless of whether he was a human or not, Ling Xiao had won their respect with his strength. Whoosh! Ling Xiao's figure flashed, turning into a golden lightning bolt, and rushed towards the patriarch of the Shadow Devil clan. Bastard, what are you doing? The patriarch of the Shadow Devil clan's face changed. He knew how terrifying Ling Xiao's strength was. At this moment, he no longer had any fighting spirit. He wanted to tear the void apart and escape. As long as he could hold on for a while, the Shadow Devil god would arrive. At that time, this human kid would be dead for sure. Kacha! Ling Xiao's palm slapped down. The palm print covered the sky, surrounded by endless chaotic mist. The runes were dazzling, and it actually shattered the void. The patriarch of the Shadow Devil clan flew back from the void in a sorry state. His eyes were filled with fear and despair. Although he was a half-step divine spirit, he was like a baby in front of this human youth. He had no power to resist at all. Who is it? Who dares to disturb my sleep? At that moment, an old and cold voice rang out. The sky trembled violently. Clouds gathered in the sky, forming a vast black vortex. An incomparably powerful figure descended from it. It was a demonic god that was tens of thousands of feet tall. His entire body was shrouded in black demonic mist. His divine power was vast and majestic, and he was incomparably terrifying. He looked very similar to a human. His face was old and his black hair was flying in the wind. However, his eyes were like a vast whirlpool, as if they were going to devour all light. He stood in the air with a cold and indifferent gaze. He stared at Ling Xiao and Zhu Ganglai with a trace of uncertainty in his eyes. This was naturally the Shadow Devil god. The Shadow Demon god could sense that Zhu Ganglai was also a demon god, while the human youth seemed to only be at the 9th level of the sovereign realm. However, the aura he emitted made him feel a sense of danger. Ling Xiao did not even look at the Shadow Devil god. His eyes flashed with killing intent as he sent a palm strike towards the patriarch of the Shadow Devil clan. How dare you! Murderous intent flashed in the Shadow Demon god's eyes. A black divine light shot down from the 9 heavens like a bolt of lightning. Boom! Zhu Ganglai sent out a punch. The black fist imprint was unparalleled and instantly shattered the black divine light. Hee, my master is killing people. You better not interfere. Zhu Ganglai chuckled as a cold light flashed in his eyes. Boom! Ling Zhao's palm strike contained vast physical strength. Even though the patriarch of the Shadow Devil clan fought back with all his might, and even used the power of his godhead, he was still turned into a bloody mist by Ling Zhao's palm strike. As for the Shadow Devil clan patriarch's primordial spirit and godhead, they were all devoured by the wordless heavenly book. The Shadow Demon God's expression instantly became unsightly. As a demon god, you actually joined the human race? You are the disgrace and scum of the demon world. Today, all of you will die. The Shadow Demon God angrily roared, his eyes filled with overflowing killing intent. A human ant dared to kill someone in front of the great Shadow Devil God. This made him feel as if he had been greatly humiliated. His heart was instantly filled with rage. Hee, Shadow Devil God, you think you can kill me? Come, let me teach you a good lesson. Zhu Ganglai sneered as a strong fighting intent appeared in his eyes. The Shadow Devil God in front of him was far from Zhu Ganglia's realm, but his true strength was about the same as Zhu Ganglia's. Whoosh! The nine-toothed rake flashed and instantly became 10,000 feet long as it slashed towards the Shadow Devil God. Zhu Ganglai, I'll leave the Shadow Devil God to you. I'll go to the Demon Snow Mountain. Ling Zhao's eyes flashed as he leaped onto the white dragon horse and prepared to go to the Demon Snow Mountain to rescue Jin Dun. Where do you think you're going? The Shadow Demon God bellowed out furiously. He slammed down with his palm and knocked the nine-toothed rake away. Afterwards, black light surged around him and turned into black demonic swords in the air, shooting towards Ling Zhao. The black demonic swords were extremely sharp and contained the Shadow Devil God's divine power as they locked onto Ling Zhao. Those who block me shall die. Ling Zhao roared as a cold killing intent appeared in his eyes. Whoosh! The devouring heaven sword soared into the sky like a golden river descending from the heavens. The golden sword chi slashed onto the black demonic swords and instantly caused them to explode, filling the sky with demonic chi. Ling Zhao's eyes flashed coldly. He originally planned to let Zhu Ganglai deal with the Shadow Devil God, but the Shadow Devil God was unwilling to let him go. Immediately, the killing intent in his heart boiled. Boom! Ling Zhao rode on the white dragon horse and threw a punch. It was like a golden sun rising into the sky, extremely bright. The white dragon horse had extreme speed, causing the power of Ling Zhao's punch to multiply. Before the Shadow Devil God could react, Ling Zhao's punch landed on his chest. A large hole appeared on the Shadow Devil God's chest. Ling Zhao and his horse went through his chest. Ah! The Shadow Demon God let out an angry roar. His eyes were filled with both shock and anger. He suddenly spat out a black ancient sword and shot it towards Ling Zhao. The speed of the sword was extremely fast, as if it would pierce through Ling Zhao in the next moment. However, the white dragon horse's eyes revealed a trace of disdain. With a flash of light, it brought Ling Zhao away and appeared behind the Shadow Devil God. Boom! Ling Zhao threw out another punch. The fist imprint was extremely fierce, as if it could pierce through everything. This time, the Shadow Devil God learned to be smart. His 10,000 zhang body looked very impressive, but Ling Zhao had the speed of the white dragon horse. He was simply a live target. The Shadow Devil God's body flashed and suddenly exploded, turning into tens of thousands of black demonic shadows that attacked Ling Zhao from all directions. Every demonic shadow emitted an extremely terrifying aura, making it impossible to distinguish which one was real and which one was fake. However, Ling Zhao's gaze was incomparably calm. He rode on the white dragon horse and turned into a white bolt of lightning that swept through the sky. Every time he threw out a punch, a demonic shadow would be shattered by him. At the same time, the devouring heaven sword soared into the sky and turned into tens of millions of golden sword chi. It emitted a sharp light that could pierce through everything as it shot towards the shadow devil god. P.S. Muyu had something to do and went out for a trip. She will continue writing when she comes back. Chapter 1057. Boom. Rays of light shone in the sky as the black demonic shadows were reduced to dust by the golden sword chi. In the end, only a black demonic shadow was left. It abruptly split apart the sword chi that filled the sky and punched towards Ling Xiao. This demonic shadow was the true body of the shadow demon god. However, the demonic shadows that were destroyed by the sword chi did not completely dissipate. Instead, they turned into black demonic light and merged into the shadow demon god's body. The shadow demon god's aura skyrocketed, causing the power of his punch to become extremely terrifying. Streaks of black lightning gathered, containing an extreme destructive power. The huge black fist was like an immemorial divine mountain as it pressed down on Ling Xiao. Kill! Killing intent flashed in Ling Xiao's eyes as he also punched out. Behind him, the ancestral dragon roared to the 9 heavens, the true phoenix burned all living things, the white tiger cut the sky and the black tortoise carried the blue sky and the sea. All kinds of mysterious phenomena gathered and turned into the 4 divisions divine light that soared into the sky. The power in Ling Xiao's body was sucked dry by the 4 divisions heavenly strike. The power of this punch had also become extremely terrifying. Kacha! The golden divine light and the black lightning collided. Ling Xiao's punch hit the black mountain that was pressing down on him and immediately set off a vast divine light storm. The heavens and earth shook, and the void shattered in an instant. A powerful void turbulence swept out in all directions with the 2 as the center. Immediately, many Devil Clan experts in the Sky Shadow City were drawn into the void and turned into dust in an instant. That black demonic mountain shook violently and then exploded with a loud bang. Ling Xiao soared into the sky like an unstoppable golden divine light pillar that pierced through the clouds. It was extremely resplendent. Ling Xiao's punch landed on the shadow demon god's body. Immediately, the shadow demon god trembled violently. Together with an arm, half of his body exploded into a bloody mist. Ah ah ah! The shadow demon god roared in pain. His eyes were filled with incomparable shock and disbelief. Ling Xiao's eyes burned with killing intent. Naturally, he would not give the shadow demon god any more chances. The wordless heavenly book flashed and instantly landed on the shadow demon god's head. A vast devouring power erupted. Under Ling Xiao's control, the wordless heavenly book constantly devoured the power in the shadow demon god's body. Wordless heavenly book. Is this the wordless heavenly book? You are the inheritor of the wordless heavenly book. Damn it! The shadow demon god roared again and again, his eyes filled with extreme fear. However, Ling Xiao's expression was indifferent. He did not pay any attention to him. With Ling Xiao's cultivation, killing the shadow demon god was not difficult at all. Not to mention, Ling Xiao still had the wordless heavenly book in his hands. Rumble. The world trembled as chains of order pierced through the void, binding the shadow demon god completely. The shadow demon god was enveloped by the wordless heavenly book, constantly devouring his strength and life force. The shadow demon god felt the threat of death. His eyes were filled with unwillingness and anger as he frantically struggled and roared. However, he was already severely injured. At this moment, he had no strength to resist at all. His cultivation was quickly devoured by the wordless heavenly book. His flesh, blood, and primordial spirit had all turned into nourishment for the wordless heavenly book. A pure and vast energy was fed back to Ling Xiao. Ling Xiao's cultivation was almost about to break through to the titled supreme stage. However, Ling Xiao suppressed the fluctuations of the breakthrough. At this moment, he had to hurry to the demon snow mountain. This was not the best time to break through. Let's go. Ling Xiao's eyes were extremely sharp. He glanced at the many demons in Sky Shadow City. Riding on the white dragon horse, he led Zhu Ganglai towards the demon snow mountain. Ling Xiao had already devoured the primordial spirits of Ing Sha and the shadow demon patriarch. He also found memories related to the demon snow mountain in their memories. The demon snow mountain was located in the center of the sealed world. It was a mountain that was tens of thousands of feet tall. It covered an area of tens of thousands of miles. It was covered by a layer of crimson demon snow all year round. It contained the power of extreme cold and extreme heat. Usually, even the powerful demons were unwilling to come here. The demon snow mountain was a forbidden area for all demons. It was rumored that the most powerful demon king Bo Sun was sealed here. At the peak of the demon snow mountain, a blood-red dragon-shaped divine light and a black dragon-shaped divine light intertwined and turned into a pillar of light that shot into the sky. It emitted a vast and terrifying power, trapping a woman in a red dress in the center. In the void around the demon snow mountain, there were dozens of figures with terrifying auras. They were all demon gods from the demon palace. Their eyes were cold and murderous as they stared at the woman in the red dress. She was a white-haired woman in a red dress. Her face was beautiful, her skin was like jade, and her figure was tall and slender. She had an unparalleled temperament. Her face was very pale. Her beautiful eyes were as bright as the stars. They were filled with a cold light. Her long eyelashes fluttered, containing a strength and decisiveness that made one's heart ache. She had a head of white hair. Her white hair fluttered in the wind, like ice that never melted. It fell to her waist. At this moment, she was half kneeling on the peak of the mountain. Broken limbs could be seen everywhere on the demon snow mountain. Black demon aura rose, looking extremely tragic. There was a terrifying trace of blood at the corner of her mouth, and her aura had become extremely weak. In front of her, an ancient sword that was as translucent as jade buzzed and trembled. It emitted a monstrous battle intent. Its unparalleled sharpness made the void tremble slightly. Spiritual sovereign, don't struggle. You have been struck by the demon god king's 7 souls dispersal light. Death is certain. As long as you agree to side with us demons and marry the demon god king, he will bestow the antidote to the 7 souls dispersal light to you. A tiger demon god slowly said. He looked at the woman in the red dress with eyes full of dread. They had set up a trap with great difficulty to lure the woman in the red dress here, causing her to be struck by the demon god king's 7 souls dispersal light and suffer heavy injuries. However, they never thought that the sword goddess of the human race would be so terrifying. Even when she was heavily injured, she could still kill 8 demon gods. Currently, there were still 36 demon gods from the demon god palace in the void, but none of them dared to attack the sword goddess of the human race. They were all waiting for her to die to the 7 souls dispersal light. Side with the demons? If I side with the demons, then what's the point of this sovereign's defense for 1,000,000 years? So what if I've been struck by the 7 souls dispersal light? Before I die, I can still kill all of you. The spiritual sovereign, who was the woman in the red dress, slowly stood up. Her voice was cold and pleasant to the ear. Her eyes were full of cold killing intent. She clenched the ancient longevity sword in her hand and pointed it at the numerous demon gods in the void. As the sword light spurted out, an unyielding battle intent spread out, causing the surrounding void to tremble slightly. You're tuning in to the Blissful Bookshelf YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.